Yo, 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 what is going on? You know what? We realized that we deleted some of the intro video. So clearly it was not playing, which is totally fine. So we will have no countdown. We are right into this. So shout out to all y'all for being here, hanging out with me on your Friday night. Like I said, guys, we are answering every start-sit question here tonight. So it's going to be an absolute blast and making sure this is on. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to all y'all for being here. I've got a bunch of questions. I'm realizing these kind of all came in different orders. So I'm going to make sure that I get the exact orders with how the questions came in tonight. So Trick, shout out to you. Thanks for being first here in the chat. I want to double check, make sure all my settings are on, and we are going to get it going. Hopefully you guys had a great Friday night. Hopefully you're excited for week 6 fantasy football. A lot of exciting stuff over the next few weeks as we all are kind of going to try to win our fantasy football championship. So shout out to Trixie. Yo, Caleb got offered Devon for DK. Do I make this trade? Trix, honestly, it kind of depends on how we're viewing your overall team. For me, I do want the DK side at this current moment, just because I know Tua's hypothetically going to be coming back in the next 2 to 3 weeks, but that's also projection, not actually with what we're seeing. So I would make this trade. And then you all said also, if James Cook were to miss this week, you feel confident putting in Braylon Allen. I don't feel like I feel confident putting in Braylon Allen, but I do feel like it would be a good opportunity for Braylon Allen. I am rolling out Braylon Allen in a few leagues where I'm super desperate. Shout out to Theo for being here. Yo, yo, yo. He says, what's up, Caleb? Should I trade Brees and a 25 third for Rasheed and a mid 26 first? Dynasty Superflex 12 times 11 1-year punt. Theo, if you're doing any type of punt in Dynasty, I 100% want to be taking that Rasheed Rice side. The main reason is, especially like in a punt, I think you could make the case right now in Dynasty that Rasheed is pretty close to Brees. And the difference between that third and that first is enough for me to want the Rasheed and that first side. Listen, punt, hopefully things go well for you in the meantime. But yeah, I would 100% be taking that side. Shout out to Element. He said, yo, what do you think about dropping Tank Dell for Tolbert? I think I'm going to give him a week, maybe 2, but Tolbert is starting to look impressive. Tolbert is looking impressive. We talked about him in our video yesterday and today, actually our video today. And the thing that I want to hit on with Tolbert is I just think we finally get Tank Dell as the clear 2 with no Nico Collins for the next 3 to 4 weeks. So I feel like it would be a very bad thing for you to drop for Tolbert. Now, if you have another player on your bench element that we could potentially drop for Tolbert, I think that would be a really great move for your overall team element. But shout out to you. Shout out to you. We got Gabe is in here, and he said, trade Stevenson and Scary Terry for Bijan. Personally, for me, Gabe, I will be going with the Bijan side, even though we do know how good Scary Terry has been. I think you get a little bit more upside with that overall pick. And then you said also Deebo Samuel or Devontae Adams straight up for Tyreek, or need to add Chubb. And Deebo Samuel or Devontae Adams straight up for Tyreek. I think you could make the case. I want Deebo Samuel so if you're trading away, I'm assuming you're trading away Tyreek here, then I do want that Deebo Samuel side. But if you're one of the other sides, like I said, I want Deebo Samuel out of all of it, but I'm holding Tyreek for Devontae Adams if you have Tyreek, Gabe. But I would be getting Deebo Samuel if you could. Are you saying, Gabe, maybe reword that question so I can help you with that? Shout out to Element. Yo, yo, yo. Thanks for being here, dude. And I'm just going to go, like I said, we're going through the questions. I know some of the chat's a little bit messed up. So we're going to keep this going. You said PRF said, with Malik Neighbors and Jonathan Taylor being out, who should I start? Wide receiver start 2, Garrett Wilson, Scary Terry, Marvin Harrison Jr. PRF, let me pull up my rankings this week. That is a difficult decision. I will be going with Garrett Wilson. And then where do I got Scary Terry in regards? I will be going with Scary Terry and Marvin Harrison Jr. Still over, not Scary Terry. I will be going with Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr. Goodness, let me get my words straight. Over Scary Terry. But I do like Scary Terry in this matchup. I think they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. Tough question here. Element, he says, Mooney or Robinson? Are we talking Bijan Robinson? Element? Which Robinson? Are we talking Brian Robinson? I assume you're talking Brian Robinson with the injury. I'm leaning Brian Robinson here. But after what we saw last week, it's hard for me to tell you to bench Mooney. L. Smith, appreciate you being here. You said you got a couple of questions, Fields or Hurts. I will be going with Jalen Hurts over Justin Fields. And then you said T. Higgins or James Conner this week. I'm assuming this is full PPR. We're going to go, where are we at with both of these guys? I'll be going with James Conner over T. Higgins, but I do love me some T. Higgins, especially after what we saw last week. Anthony, appreciate you. You said, Caleb, what's up? Appreciate you, Anthony. Trick said, really wishing I put Garrett Wilson in the flex rather than DK. I think you commented that. It was a disappointing game for DK for sure. Also a kind of disappointing day for JSN, but we live, we learn, we put our studs in, we hope for the best. Bake Zitty said I should start Bucky Irving and bench Trey Sermon, right? Especially with no Rachaad White, which I don't know if that's been officially, that's the way it's trending right now, but I would be starting Bucky Irving over Trey Sermon, 100% in full PPR. Appreciate you. Freddie says, would you start Brian Thomas Jr. or Slayton? Freddie, I would be starting Brian Thomas Jr., have him ahead in my rankings. Appreciate you, Freddie. Element said, Ayuk and Mason screwed me over playing the best in the league. Element, Mason screwed a lot of people over. So I think you're right there in the conversation there, my guy. So like I said, guys, hit that like button. I am getting to every start sit question here tonight. So helping you guys win your week 6 matchup. Absolutely love seeing all you guys in here. Recon XP, do I start Chase Brown or Tyrone Tracy? At this current moment, I'm starting Chase Brown. I know there's the quad injury, but it's looking like he's going to be good to go this week. So I will be going with Chase Brown here. Recon, appreciate you. And like I said, my questions kind of popped up all weird. So I'm just double checking that I think we're getting back on track. Because we had Recon in the chat, and then we had PR said, what do you think about trading Zach Moss? Let me see. Is my chat pulling up all weird? I'm just double checking all this. No, I think we're good. PR said, what do you think about trading Zach Moss and Wan'Dale Robinson for Marvin Harrison Jr.? PR, if I want Marvin Harrison Jr. there. Debo GSD, appreciate you tuning in. You said Kraft or Goddard this week. I will be going with Tucker Kraft. I think Goddard is a good play is a better play, of course, when there's no AJ Brown. But I will be going with Tucker Kraft this week. Element said, at least I started Kittle. Element, you gotta have some of the things that are working out correctly for you. The roll said Superflex, 14-man league, redraft, pick a side. AJ Brown and Bo Nix is what I gave up. Drizzy Drake and Devontae Smith, easily, dude. AJ Brown, of course, is the best player in the deal. You know this. It's a big money league. But you're getting 2 very good players for AJ Brown and Bo Nix, who's... Listen, I understand it's super flex. I understand all that, but give me the Drizzy Drake and Devontae Smith side, especially in a 14-team league. Shout out to you, the roll. Rumple Foreskin said, I dropped Bucky last week and now I have instant regret. Sometimes your roster sizes are just so small you cannot hold players that aren't going to be playing. You said he's available for, yes, 100%. Yes. Honestly, drop Sam Darnold or Braylon Allen. I don't care. Hold Chase Brown, though. Rumple Foreskin. But easily, go do that right now before someone else does it. Trick said, DK is my wide receiver so I feel like I acquired A-Chain and having him along with Cook, Jacobs, and Jonathan Brooks would be a good addition. I feel it, Tricks. I feel it. PRF said, I'm so unlucky. I'm against Debo, got one play that got him 17 points last night, and besides that, he really didn't do anything, and then with me. I got it. Element says, Rumple changed his profile picture. Let's see what it is. Yeah, he did. He always is in here changing his profile picture. Nicholas, appreciate you tuning in. Shout out to Baby Yoda. You said, where do you have Kenneth Walker ranked rest of season? I'll just kind of give you my overall. Let me pull up my rankings. But if we're looking at full PPR for Kenneth Walker, I have him as my RB7, overall player 13. So I have him pretty high there, Nicholas. It's tame, don't worry. Shout out to Rumple. Element said it's Peter's. You guys are going to get me demonetized. I love you. Bundles 2.0 said, RB2, should I stick with Chase Brown, go with Zach Moss, or do I start Antonio Gibson? Bundles 2.0, I will be going with Chase Brown, my guy. Be going with Chase Brown. Link said Ferguson or Kincaid rest of season. And I'm just making sure that these questions are coming in the right order. Cool. I will be going, rest of season. In regards to tight end, I wish in my heart of hearts that I could tell you Dalton Kincaid. But at this current moment, we got to say Jake Ferguson, just based on what Jake Ferguson has done and the lack of what Dalton Kincaid has done. Rumple Force and Caleb wouldn't let me do anything obscene. Shout out to Rumple. He knows. I told him, if we do anything obscene, I'm going to have to get you out of here. I wouldn't do that for you, Rumple. I appreciate all the support. You said no one. I'm trading for Tyreek. Oh, okay. I would do Devontae Smith. I would not do Debo. I would hold on to Debo, Gabe. Eddie said, what's up, Caleb? Need help for my wide receiver 3 in a standard league. Slayton or Leggett had dropped Pittman, but picked him back up. Shout out to that. Slayton or Leggett. I would go with Slayton over Leggett this week. Then also, should I drop San Fran and start streaming defenses? Thanks. Depends on what defenses are out there. So if you want to give me some options, Eddie, like rest of season, I still have San Francisco as a top 5 defense rest of season. So it's going to based on matchup going forward. But I feel like you can't probably drop them. So I'm going to be holding on to them. We can talk about that next week, Eddie. The Roll said, bro, I found a red Solo cup full of change in my closet, like filled to the brim, and I cashed it out for $26.59. Shout out to The Roll. Eddie said, standard me 12-man, 4-1. Brag on us, Eddie. Brag on it. Elmet said, yeah, with this community leaders, no one's better, but also because I have to have Puka. Most of these big injury people like CMC and Puka should be getting back to it soon. Yeah, preach. I have a few teams with CMC, and I'm hoping things turn around. Elmet said, CMC was given the choice to practice. Yeah, it's a lot of exciting. The Roll said, that's not even counting the candy bar bought with it as well. It's like a free. Oh, goodness. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Element says, Wandell Robinson. I don't know what question that was. Anthony says, I'm here just hanging out till wifey gets done getting ready. Couldn't miss the live stream. Hopefully Mason's performance and injury don't make me lose this week. Yeah, Mason lost a lot of us the performance. It's really sad because it's like almost like the end of an era with Jordan Mason and how that's going to be coming back down the stretch because CMC is going to come and it's going to kind of wipe out the value of Jordan Mason. So Anthony, appreciate you tuning in. L Smith 18, appreciate you as well. Champagne 7 said flex Downs, McConkey, or Pickens this week and rest of season. This week I will be going with Downs, but rest of season, let me pull up my wide receiver rankings and give it to you. So I still have George Pickens ahead of Josh Downs rest of season. So I would go George Pickens, Josh Downs, and then Ladd McConkey would be the way my rest of season rankings are looking at this current moment. Champagne, appreciate you tuning in. The Roll said, am I crazy, but I got a feeling about Mike Williams this week over Leggett. Is that stupid or should I go with my gut? Let me see where I feel like I have Leggett higher than Mike Williams, like, almost 18 spots higher the Roll, but you do you. Sometimes you do have to go with your gut at the end of the day. I'm just some guy on the internet telling you my opinion. But if you're in your gut, it's a Mike Williams week. Mike Williams, big boomer bust, Gabriel Polk, 18, appreciate you. You said Slayton, BTJ, or Tolbert. I will be going with BTJ and Tolbert. Appreciate you, Gabriel. I know, honestly, I do like Slayton this week a lot, but I don't love him enough to play him over Slayton for sure. So I appreciate you tuning in. Tingley, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute. You said Caleb, yo, PPR, BTJ, or Christian Kirk. Just wondering because of Jalen Johnson. Yeah, so Jalen Johnson's most likely going to be on BTJ this week. I talked about Christian Kirk. I did feel like this was going to be a breakout type day for him, but it's hard for me to tell you to start Christian Kirk above BTJ with the results that BTJ has been getting over the last 2 weeks. So I probably still, in my gut, go with BTJ, but I do think Christian Kirk's in for a big day. So that's probably not helping you. That's probably not helping you at all, Tingly. But I would go with BTJ. Apple Cod, good to see you again, my guy. Thanks so much. Hey, what's up, Caleb? Got Juju in my money league. Shout out to that. And you know what? I realize we're here, and I don't Element. I'm so sorry. I do not have your music playing in the background. I literally have Element beats. So I got I put it all together in an MP3 folder for you, Element. So we got it just going in the background. So let me know what you guys think. That's huge, Apple Cod. Good to see you. Tingley said, start Bucky or Tracy if Singletary's out, PPR. I'm starting Bucky Irving this week, Tingley. Apple Cod said, also Wicks or Sermon at flex. I'll be going with Sermon this week, Apple Cod. It doesn't really matter who the quarterback is. I'll be going Sermon over Wicks. Appreciate you tuning in. Gabriel, 18, said, also, should I drop Leggett for Bucky? 100%. Go pick up Bucky. I think Bucky's in for a pretty big week this week. And then we're also looking at Bucky Irving going forward, kind of taking that Rachaad White role. KJ said, better flex start Mike Evans or Zach Moss, full PPR. KJ, I will be going with Mike Evans. I think Chase Brown is going to continue to eat into that snap share. And as much as it's the last few weeks has been like a 25 to 40% snap share for Chase Brown, Zach Moss has been getting around 60%. I still do want Mike Evans this week, KJ, even though it's a pretty good matchup for the Bengals running backs. Just True said, good evening, everyone. Shout out to you, Just True. Tingley said, you'd rather start Wandell or Slayton in PPR? Tingley, I will be going with Wandell Robinson. Element says, I think Wix is going to do good this week. Hey, Element, you speak it into existence. It might happen. It might just happen. But we'll have to see if it does. Flexible Timmy says, Gibson or Bucky this week? I will be going with Bucky Irving. I do have Bucky Irving exceptionally high in my running back rankings this week, guys. So there's a good chance that if we're talking fringe running backs, I will be always leaning with Bucky. Dr. Duck Dawkin, appreciate you tuning in. You said lost Nico this week. Start Wandell or Bucky in the flex, full PPR. Personally, for me, I'm looking down the line where we got Wandell Robinson, who looked really good last week with no Malik Neighbors. And then we got, assuming that there's going to be no Rachaad White. Like I said, that hasn't officially, I don't know if you guys have seen if it's official that Bucky is playing over him. But let me pull up my flex ranking just to kind of give you the idea of where both of these guys are at. I have Bucky Irving sliding in this week as my RB18. But I do have Wandell Robinson as my wide receiver 24. So I would be going with Wandell Robinson, but it's close because I do want to tell you to go Bucky. But at this point, I'm going to tell you to go Wandell because that's how my rankings have it. David said Laporta or Kraft in full PPR. Thanks for that, David. Good to see you. I will be going with Laporta, but David, to say my confidence level on this one, I have them both back to back. So, but I do have Laporta a spot ahead of Kraft. Element said, I also just did an NBA draft. Shout out to Element. Are you doing some fantasy football, basketball? I played it for a few years. It's just a lot. It's honestly a lot. And plus I'm making content, so it's hard for me to kind of put my mind to something else. Kyle, appreciate you seeing you. Shout out to that cool logo, man. Appreciate you being here. You said Higgins, Dell, and Mixon start one wide receiver and one flex. I will be starting T. Higgins. And then between Dell and Mixon, that's a great question. Let me see. Do we know officially what he's had limited practices today, and so there's a chance Joe Mixon doesn't go this week. But hypothetically, I would be going with Joe Mixon if he plays, Kyle, but if he doesn't, I would be going with Tank Dell. The good news is you're starting Higgins, and so you have Dell or Mixon in the same game. So I'd go with Mixon if he plays, but of course, if we get like rumored that like he's going to be super limited, he's going to be splitting time, like go with Tank Dell. Eddie, appreciate you being here. You said, I got JT and maybe B-Rob out. Picked up Ray Davis, Gibson. If Cook is out, how we feel about Davis versus Gibson? If I would go with Gibson over Ray Davis, but I do have Ray Davis, talked about him in a stash video tomorrow. You said also if B-Rob is out, should I pick up McNichols or no? I wouldn't deal with McNichols because we still got Austin Eckler. So I would go with Antonio Gibson, then Ray Davis would be my way of that. Eddie, appreciate you tuning in, my guy, as always. Kyle, good to see you. You said start one PPR, Brian Robinson, Sermon, or Bigsby. Well, I want to go with Brian Robinson, Kyle, but there's a chance that Brian Robinson isn't going to be playing this week. So at this current moment, like I said, we will be streaming again tomorrow. So if you want to come back and ask me or comment on a video, I'll definitely re-answer this. But I got Brian Robinson. But then between Sermon and Bigsby, I will be going with Sermon over Bigsby. Shane F., good to see you. You said start Brian Robinson Jr. or Zach Moss in half PPR. Let me pull up my running back rankings because I know this is close because Chase Brown has been nipping at the heels. But let me see. Personally, we're looking at Zach Moss the last 2 weeks. Last week against Baltimore wasn't a good day, but I still lean Zach Moss over Brian Robinson this week versus Baltimore. I just think that front seven is going to be so difficult. Now, there is the touchdown upside for Brian Robinson. I think it's a good day for Jaden Daniels. I think it's hard to bench Jaden Daniels, but I would be taking Zach Moss over Brian Robinson. PRF said Jonathan Brooks plays this week. Should I start him? No, we're not starting Jonathan Brooks. Listen, there's been nobody in the fantasy space more excited for Jonathan Brooks, but I will be waiting this one out. I want to see it because the worry, it's week one off an ACL. Let's play Trey Sermon. It is a bad start. It's not a great start for Trey Sermon by any stretch of the imagination this week. So I'm right there with you, PRF. But I still have Trey Sermon as a top 30 running back. I don't have Jonathan Brooks in the top 30. We need to see it just see something before we start putting it higher. Fantasy Football Girl, appreciate you. Said, hey, need the best advice. Shout out to you. I told your husband. We got Timbo Slice, and then we got the Fantasy Football Girl. Married couple that are some of my favorite people that support the channel. And I want you to know that I told Timbo he can't ask me any start-sit questions this week because I'm answering all of yours because you guys are playing each other. And he responded and said, I guess I'm going to have to find my advice elsewhere. So probably going to lose to you. I want you to know that. Justin Fields or Kirk Cousins, we will be going with Justin Fields. even though Fantasy Football Girl, we're a little bit nervous about Justin Fields this week with like the rumors of if something it goes around in Pittsburgh and they pull and put in Russell Wilson, but high upside is going to be with Justin Fields. And then in your wide receivers, you got Marvin Harrison Jr., Devontae Smith, Bijan, Monty. Yeah, I love Monty this week. Ferguson, and then in your flex, I would be going with Jacoby Myers over Quentin Johnston. So I think you're locked and loaded, ready to beat the hubby. PRF says, meant to say if Jonathan Brooks plays. Yeah, I understand. I understand what you said. Link said, Kincaid, Ferguson, and Bowers for rest of season. It's 100% going to be Bowers is my tight end one rest of season. I have not jumped off that bandwagon. But then I would go with Ferguson. Then I would go with Kincaid. That'd be my order there, Link. Appreciate you. And full PPR. Yep, I'd still go with Jacoby Myers. Sam Darnold has been hard for me to rank in Dynasty. What are your thoughts on him? Yeah, in Dynasty, it's hard because we have the JJ McCarthy thing behind him. So looking at Sam Darnold long-term, like what kind of contract would he get? I think the way he's playing, he definitely has a spot in the NFL. It just determines, is it going to be on the Minnesota Vikings or not going forward? It's hard to draft a quarterback as high as they did JJ McCarthy and not give him a chance in year 2. Element said okay. What a squad. Okay, what a squad. And you got Bronny. Why'd you draft Bronny? Bronny ain't even gonna play, Element. It's just that was just a pick, but I do like Lively. Yeah, I know all these guys. Hero, I'm excited for Jaime Jaquez, honestly, this year. Gabriel said Amon-Ra for BTJ and J.K. Dobbins. I want the Amon-Ra side. Gabe, appreciate you. Dab said start DJ, Mixon, and Deontay. If I only have to pick one of these guys, or Dab, I don't know who you're. Is this? Do I only get to pick one? How's this working? I would go with Deontay over all of them, but if I had to rank them, I'd go Deontay, DJ, Mixon. That would be my order there, Dab. Appreciate you. Element says it's okay. I've seen people actively doing the D-side right. You know what I mean? Goodness. Zoho said, hey, there, need help. Shout out to you. I see you said, good evening, need help. Yeah, I will answer your question once I see it. Debo GSD said Slayton, Wicks, or Kraft. I'll be going with Slayton there, Debo. Kevin, good to see you. You said, I have Hall, Mason as my starting RB. CMC is coming back, and I have Brooks and Bigsby on my bench. I also have Evans, London, and Pickens as my wide receiver. Should I package Evans or Pickens with Brooks? Yeah, I think you could definitely do that. I think the thing that I would wait for is like if Jonathan Brooks, like if someone's super hype on him, trade him now, but there's potential that his value goes up. Like I think the lowest value Jonathan Brooks is going to have all season is right now just because he hasn't played. So if you could wait and see like Jonathan Brooks, if we start to see flashes of like Jonathan Brooks ends up being like a top tier waiver wire ad and or Jonathan Brooks absolutely starts to eat into Chuba Hubbard's workload, you could definitely package him with Evans and get an absolute stud in a little bit. But at this current moment, I lean, you can explore those trades, but it'll be interesting to see. Like for an RB is what you said. Yeah, if you want an RB for Evans, let me give you some targets, and then we'll get to the next start sit question. Yeah, I would look at like could you get up into like a James Cook, Kenneth Walker range? Those would be my targets with those two guys. Tingley said Deontay or Wandell / Slayton full PPR. I'm going with Deontay, Tingley. Zoho, why are you retracting your messages? I don't know. Kevin says Chase Brown or Tank Bigsby this week. I will be going with Chase Brown, Kevin. Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much. Like I said, guys, we are answering all start sit questions here tonight. So if you guys are new, hit that subscribe button. We post videos each and every day. We go live stream. I'm answering every start sit question in the comments. So make sure you guys are tuned in. Appreciate you. Get off my PF. My running backs have all died, bro. Stevenson, Cook, Rashad, and I only have Brees. My wide receivers are Devontae, Wandell, McLaurin, Amon-Ra. How can I get a running back for this week? I'm starting Gibson at my other. Yeah, so I don't think it's bad. I think, honestly, a lot of people are in the spot where you, even if you think you have a running back, like you have Jordan Mason goes out and absolutely stinks it up. So I would just say that we're not going to overreact to your running back situation, because the moment you overreact and we start trying to do trades, that's when you're not in the position of leverage and you're going to end up losing that. So for me, I'm definitely going to hold your team. You got Devontae, McLaurin, Amon-Ra, Wandell. Like, we feel good about it. Hopefully Brees pops off for you this week. But really, the RB2 spot is the least of my worries with this squad. So get off my PF. Appreciate you being here. Wishing you luck in that running back department. Dynasty is my life. You said start 3.5 PPR. Andrews Ladd, Trey Tucker, Hopkins, Brian Robinson, Alec Pierce, Ray McLeod. Man, we are in the mud. But I will be going 0.5 tight end premium is interesting. I don't think we can start Andrews no matter what. So I will be going with Brian Robinson, assuming he plays. So I'll give you 4. Dynasty is my life, just so you know, if in case Brian Robinson doesn't play. I go with Brian Robinson. I go with Alec Pierce, and I go with Hopkins. Now, if for some reason Brian Robinson doesn't play, then I would start Ray McLeod over Trey Tucker and Andrews. I know that's pretty bold, but that's how I do it. Element says CFB championship predictions, Ohio State versus Alabama. Rumble says, okay, I dropped Braylon for Bucky. Good. Although he's just going to sit on my bench this week, unless you're thinking he's worth starting over Jacob. Nah, not over Jacobs, but I do have Bucky pretty high. The role said I traded Keon Coleman for Rome straight up in redraft full PPR I prefer Rome over Keon Coleman. I talked about Keon Coleman in my video today as a potential sleeper candidate going forward, and especially for this week, but I do prefer Rome over Keon Coleman rest of the season. Johnny38 said, happy Friday, Caleb. Would you start Kyler Murray or Kirk Cousins or Baker Mayfield? I will be going with Kyler Murray this week. I love the Konami code. Upside for Kyler Murray, have him as a top 5 quarterback this week. Fire him up. Now, it's hard to predict when Kirk Cousins is going to throw 30 attempts and be absolutely electric like he was this last week. So, like I said, I know that, and Baker can definitely pop off with all the passing touchdowns, but I do want Kyler Murray this week, Johnny38. Scar17S said, Najee, Bucky, Moss, Sermon, sit to full PPR. I will be, goodness gracious, let me pull up my RB rankings for the week. So we will be sitting, I want to play Najee, and then it's between Moss and Bucky. We're gonna play Bucky. So we're gonna play Najee and Bucky. We're gonna sit Moss and Sermon. That's what I want to do there, Scar. La Raza, appreciate you being here. Hey, start Wicks or Coleman this week. I'm going Wicks this week, only because I do like the matchup versus Arizona. Now, Keon Coleman is a touchdown just waiting to happen, but I'm glad you have both. I like Keon Coleman's upside. I actually talk about him in my video tomorrow. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. Fantasy Football Girl said, I love Element. Yeah, shout out to Element. Like I said, I tonight Element. I actually went into Logic. I put a bunch of beats, like the 4 beats, and I just looped them for a while, so I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, shout out to Element on the channel for making the background music. Verify said, is there a world where we start Polk this week? Teams riddled with injuries in a trade stagnant league. Verify. I talk about Jalen Polk as a great stash, especially with Drake May coming in. They're gonna have to throw the ball a ton. I have him we're talking still like a top 60 wide receiver. I have him as my wide receiver 57 this week, but I would understand if you do need to start him. It's probably not the best thing that I want to do. But yeah, going forward, that's kind of where I have him. I must have, yes, shout out to the Fantasy Football Girl giving the compliments out to our guy Element. Gabriel, you said, if I scoop Bucky, should I play him over Pollard? No, I actually have Pollard super high this week. I do like Pollard more than I like Bucky, but I do like that you picked up Bucky because I think going forward, there's a chance that Bucky's just going to continue to eat into the overall workload. Let me say Bucky's on my waiver. Yes, yeah, 100%. Go pick him up, Element. Go pick him up. J876, is it me or is Tolbert going way under the radar, especially for week 6? He is going under the radar this week. I think just a lot of people aren't, when you look, you think, oh, we had a great week 5, but then you actually go in and look at the numbers, you're like, hey, his week 2 and week 3 were also super impressive. So I do like Jalen Tolbert as a flex level option. I have him as my wide receiver 39 this week, so you're definitely having to play him in specific circumstances. I have him projected around 9 fantasy points is where I have him this week, Jay. Johnny said, Caleb, am I crazy to start Jalen Tolbert over Mike Evans? I'm afraid. I know you commented. Did you comment this on a video already and ask me? I'm still leaning Mike Evans. I understand the worry with Mike Evans. I have Mike Evans pushed down my board. I have Mike Evans as my wide receiver 20. We literally just saw what happened with Patrick Surtain on Mike Evans, locked him up. So I understand, but I'm still starting Mike Evans. I'm not getting that crazy. The Roll said, Elma, I've worked 3 pizza places. My family asked me to make pizza all the time. Shout out to The Roll. Absolutely cooking in some pizza. Bat You Pipe, appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much for finding the channel. You said, just traded Jefferson for Kyron and Evans. Did I win? Yes, you did. Because in my rest of season rankings, we have, I have Justin Jefferson as my wide receiver 1, but I have Mike Evans as my wide receiver 9. And then I have Kyron Williams rest of season as my running back 5. So you're getting 2 top 10 assets at their position for the number 1 asset at their position. Yeah, 100%. You definitely won that trade. Good job. Lucas said, Tank Bigsby or Najee Harris, 0.5 PPR. Lucas, I will be going with Najee Harris this week. Appreciate you. Element said, I tried MLB, not sure if I'll do that. Yeah, I can't do fantasy football or fantasy baseball. No. Element says, that's very cool. Try to cook with the frozen pizza. Yeah, honestly, game changer is grilling your pizza. Put your frozen pizza on the grill. That's a huge game changer. Element said, I keep getting a heart attack because for some reason ESPN likes to put questionable. Yes, I've been seeing that too. Debo said, Algier or Spears? Thanks, old son. Oh, goodness. We're here looking at Tyler Algier versus Tajay Spears. I think we go with Tajay Spears, but I don't feel like super confident. But I like the matchup versus Indy. So I would go with Tajay Spears, but I don't feel confident in this, Debo, just so you know. Nino says, you think Tolbert over Pickens would be crazy? Now, this is more realistic here, Nino, in regards. I still have George Pickens as my wide receiver 29, and then I have Jalen Tolbert, like we said, as my wide receiver 39. So really, it's 10 spots apart. So if you feel like you want to go with Jalen Tolbert over George Pickens, I understand, because George Pickens last week with only 4 fantasy points, that ain't going to win you any week in half PPR. So yeah, going forward, I think you could definitely discuss Jalen Tolbert this week. And Justin Fields has been great for fantasy football, but he hasn't been great for George Pickens. Elvis, I love Mark. You guys are making me hungry. I'm super hungry. PR said, do you think about starting Gibbs? And Monty? If you have both of them, sure. It depends on who you're looking at. I have Jahmyr Gibbs, RB5 this week, and then I have David Montgomery as a RB15. So I have both as top 15 running backs, which means you're probably going to be starting them PRF. Nino said, also need a wide receiver RB to swap with the league mate. Any thoughts? Traded away Kamara and Higgins for Saquon and Dell. Ooh, that was close. I mean, Saquon is still ahead for me over Alvin Kamara. I mean, Saquon's my RB1 rest of the season, but Alvin Kamara is sliding in as my RB6 rest of the season. But then T. Higgins, after this last few weeks of absolute demolishing, he's gotten pushed up to my wide receiver 26 rest of the season, and then Tank Dell's still hovering around my wide receiver 37 rest of the season. So honestly, I probably do. I mean, you get the advantage of Saquon Barkley, so I do like that, Nino. Also need a wide receiver running back swap with the league mate. Any thoughts? Traded away. So is this a deal you're looking at? I do want the Saquon and Tank Dell side, Nino. Jesus said, start Moss or Brown rest of season. I think it depends on matchup and how both are playing, but at least this week I'm starting Chase Brown over Zach Moss. And I'm a Bengals fan. Oh, Dab said you just needed one. Hopefully that helped with me ranking out Dab your question, because now I'm going back up to double check. You said start DJ. Yeah, I'm starting Deontay. That's who I'm starting. And shout out to the super chat from Debo. You said thanks for your time, bro. Thanks so much, Debo. Appreciate the kind words as always, guys. Like I said, we're getting to all-star sit questions here tonight. Let me go back up to Dab's question, and we're going to keep this train moving on the row. We got Ray. Shout out to Ray, dude. I haven't seen you in a second, bro. Ray Gamer. Appreciate you being here in the chat. You said start 2 in a standard, 6 points per touchdown. Deontay, Wandell, Tolbert, Pittman. Start 2. So we're going to be starting Deontay for sure. And then I would start... It depends on who's at quarterback this week for the Colts, but I'm going to still go with Wandell Robinson. I think those are the clear 2 that I'm going with, Ray. Appreciate you tuning in. Dab said, or pick 2, Reed, Devontae Smith, Deontay. 2, I will be going with Reed and Deontay Johnson. Dab. Gifan Kim, appreciate you being here. I don't know if that's is that a Georgia Tech logo? You said no subscribe here. Glad I found the channel. Hey, appreciate it. Appreciate you finding the channel. Like I said, new people are finding us all the time. We post videos. We post running back videos. We post trade videos. We post stash videos, answering all-star state questions. So thanks for the kind words once you're here in the community. Element said, welcome to the channel. Yeah, shout out to the 47 people in here. If you guys haven't hit the like button, hit that like button. It helps me out so much. You said, should I trade away Rico for Eckler? At this moment, as I'm thinking about, I'm double checking my rankings, but I would not do it. I would keep Rico. for sure. I have Rico as a top 27 running back rest of the season, and I have Austin Eckler as a top 35. So I have them almost 9 spots apart there. So I would keep Rico Dowdle over Austin Eckler. Appreciate you. We got PRF said, I really like the second then I trade. I really feel like the second I trade Amari Cooper, when he goes off, he has 47 targets, which is great, but Sean Watson is terrible. Would you consider me trading him for Bucky? Let me pull up my flex rankings. I just updated these today. Yeah, I'm cool to do it. I'm cool to take Bucky over Amari Cooper. In some leagues, though, like where I'm super stacked at running back, I probably hold Amari Cooper just at the thought that if good old Jameis gets in there and starts throwing the ball, slinging the ball all around the yard, we could be looking at good things for Amari Cooper. But personally, at this moment, I would take Bucky over Amari Cooper. Thanks, man. Have a good day. I was about to trade for an RB back, but never mind. Thanks, dude. Appreciate you, dude. Yeah. Sometimes you get worried about that RB2 spot, but I think you're in a good spot. Emma says, do you know at the League FFB, I can't remember if he was the guy you streamed with one time last year. Yeah, Element. Shout out to Andrew. I was just in his stream a little bit earlier. Yeah, he's a great friend, probably my best friend in the space. And yeah, we're really tight. So if you guys haven't checked him out, definitely go check him out. So we don't stream together anymore just because both of our channels have kind of grown, that we have plenty of questions to get through. And so I can't be dealing with, we used to double stream where both of our channels would kind of merge and we'd answer all the start sit questions, but I have way too many questions to get to now that I want to answer for all of you guys. So yeah, he's a great friend though. I Verify said, Trey Sermon, Alec Pierce, do these people even watch? Hey, some people just don't know how to spell, so it's fine. It's fine. I misspell all the time. Like you guys always call me out on my videos when I put a typo in a graphic, so it's okay. Player 02 said, PPR, BTJ or Marvin Harrison Jr. Player 02, I will be going with Marvin Harrison Jr. this week, and it's not really close. I have Marvin Harrison Jr. as my wide receiver 13 this week, and then I have Brian Thomas as my wide receiver 21. So it's decently close, but I would still take Marvin Harrison Jr. But shout out to you for having BTJ. He's been absolutely balling. Mute Lips 44, appreciate you for tuning in. You said Keenan Allen and Romeo Doubs on waivers, either of them worth number 1 waiver. They're both they both definitely have roles on their team. And this might be controversial on how you view Keenan Allen, but I just don't think I can tell you to use the number 1 waiver wire on Keenan Allen. And maybe someone else in the comments is going to have a little bit of a disagreement with me. I mean, I do have Keenan Allen as a top, 110 player rest of the season, but I think we need to wait in case some opportunity presents itself to get a real game changer onto your team. So I wouldn't do it for either of them. Appreciate you tuning in. Beginner Finances said, shout out to all you. Hope you guys got a piggy bank. Beginner Finances, which flex start, Zach Moss or Jalen Tolbert? And hopefully I'm double checking the stream to make sure we're going in order on the questions, because let me see where we're at. Yeah, cool, we are. I would go with, I'm going with Zach Moss over Jalen Tolbert, beginner, because I do like the matchup for Cincinnati this week. But it's close. It's close, especially with us. I was hoping to see a little bit more out of Zach Moss. I know he's off the injury report, but I was hoping to see a little bit more practice time this week. But I would go with Zach Moss. Zohu said, good evening. How you doing? Full PPR. Pick 2 out of the 3 players. We got Flowers, Hubbard, Marvin Harrison Jr. Goodness gracious. What kind of question is this, Zoho? You got a star-studded team. You're asking me between 2 players. I'm going to go with Chuba Hubbard, and I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr., but just so you know, Zay Flowers is 2 spots behind, so it's so stinking close for me, Zoho, but I would go with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Hubbard. Get off my PF. Would you start Pickens or Slayton? I got Pickens from a guy for Judy. Just worried about Pickens' attitude affecting his reps. I would go with Slayton this week. That was a gut reaction. I do have George Pickens higher than Slayton, but I do think you could. We definitely need to discuss Slayton going up, especially with the fact that they're going to have to throw the ball in the second half. I think Cincinnati's going to get up big. And then Get Off My Pete said, I can't lose this week. I don't know. That's hard. It's close. It's close. Go with your gut, because I like both decisions. I don't feel confident in either. Get Off My PF, but my instinct is to tell you go Slayton. Brendan, good to see you, dude. Maybe are you working out right now? Getting all swole? You said full PPR Superflex League. Should I trade Mike Evans for Tyreek or stay pat? I would just stay pat. You have AJ Cup, Jaden Reed, and DK if I trade him. I think you asked this earlier. And if we're looking at like rest of season, because it's the projection that Tyreek is going to get, going to get Tua back, but I still have I've pushed Tyreek back up my rest of season rankings, but I still have him behind Mike Evans. So I would go with Mike Evans over Tyreek Hill. Scar17S said, thanks, Caleb. Love the channel. Hey, man, I appreciate the kind words. Means the world. Like I said, guys, we're trying to grow, trying to have fun, trying to produce the best fantasy football content possible. So appreciate all y'all for always tuning in. Brandon said, Kraft or Bowers this week. I will be going with Bowers for sure. Brenda said, how soon do you think Chubb plays? I'll be honest. I ain't a doctor. I am not a doctor, and I'm barely someone that like can make content. So I'm just honestly over here. What the earliest could return? There's some different things. I know he's not playing this week. He's probably a week or two out. So maybe next week. But I would bet in 2 weeks is kind of my prediction. Brendan, John said Pickens, Wicks, or Dubs this week. I will be going, if I had to pick one, I will be going with George Pickens. But Dontavian Wicks is 2 spots behind John. So if you feel better about Wicks, they're still both in wide receiver 3 territory for me. So I'd be cool with either. RR Edits, appreciate you tuning in. You said Trey Sermon, start, sit. Depends on who you're debating Trey Sermon against. But assuming that you're kind of in a spot where you have to start him, like I have him as a top 30 running back this week, RR Edits. So I don't feel the best about it, but I also I feel like he did all right last week. He had 15 fantasy points. So roll him back out again if you need to. But let me know if you have like an actual start sit decision. I can help you with that. Fantasy Football Girl said, running back full PPR, Tank Bigsby or Rashad Bateman. Fantasy Football Girl, I will be going with Tank Bigsby for me in full PPR. Rumple Foreskin, so you already told me to start Kirk this week over Tolbert after a couple of days. Are you still feeling the same? See, I'm so glad you guys remember. I answer so many questions that sometimes I forget what I told you to do. And so I'm glad you guys double check with me, because sometimes it is like I do contradict myself, because I do update my rankings very consistently. But this week I still have Christian Kirk over Tolbert, Rumple Foreskin. So I would go with that. We're gonna start up the music again. GFO and Kim, if you had to, do you stream May or Rattler? Sorry for the gross question. 2 rookie level quarterbacks in their first starts. I think we start Drake May over Rattler, and the only reason we're starting Drake May, as I have them both super low, but Drake May does have that rushing upside. I think we could see like 20 to 30 yards rushing. Maybe that's high. Like 20 to 25 yards rushing from Drake May, which I think helps his overall floor. So I would go with Drake May. Notable competition. Appreciate you tuning in. You said start Jahmyr Gibbs or Saquon this week. Goodness gracious, you're telling me you can't start both notable competition? What the heck? Some people's decisions, some people's teams. But I would go with Saquon over Jahmyr Gibbs. But I can't believe you have to bench one. That's kind of ridiculous, if I'm being honest myself. A Walker, thanks for tuning in. You said half PPR tight end premium league, so full PPR for tight ends. Who should I flex? Tucker Kraft or Dontavian Wicks? Let me see how far apart I have them, and then do my little math. I go with Tucker Kraft, especially with that bonus that helps out Kraft a ton. John says, should I add Slayton and drop Dubs or Wicks? I would drop Dubs and pick up Slayton if you need to play him this week. But like long-term value, like it's a 1 week sample size for Slayton right now, because once Neighbors comes back, then Slayton's pretty much relegated back to not being a good fantasy football asset. So if you don't need Slayton this week, then I'm not doing either of those moves. I'm just going to hold on to Dubs and Wicks. But if you potentially do need a play this week, then I would go with Slayton and drop Slayton. Yeah, shout out to Element for constantly providing the beats. Unless I gotta try putting pizza on the grill, I got a fancy Traeger and yes, trust me, it's a game changer. The little I don't know if you guys have Aldi or Walmart, but like the frozen pizzas, like the Jack's pizzas on the grill are like so good. Shout out to Element. Yeah, keep growing your channel, bro. Make those beats. Jeff on Kin said grilled pizza. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. You guys got to try it. Got to try it. It's so much better than just putting it in the oven. And like most of the grilled pizzas, like, or the frozen pizzas, like they have the grill option. So good. Yeah. Jaime said Mason sold me last night. Unfortunately, sorry, Jaime. I know I saw your comment. I need to get back to it. But first of all, he just had to get injured. Should have plugged in Scary Terry at my. It's so hard because we can't predict injuries. We really can't. And I feel like that's the hardest part when you guys are asking me start sit questions, especially when we start talking like injuries with guys. Like I can give you my best advice on what I think should happen, but then at the end of the day, they're out there getting hit by grown men, and it can be rough. So I'm fortunate for that for you, Jaime. Sorry, man. DD Red Solo Cup 32 said Najee versus Vegas, Trey Sermon, Bucky, or injured Brian Robinson. Not leaning towards the latter, but Baltimore, Washington. Yeah. I have Najee Harris as my highest ranked running back. I have Najee, Brian, then Bucky. So that's kind of how I have it. DD Red Solo Cup. So depending on how you want to look at your team, I understand going one way or another. We got Applecod said Tolber's on my waiver. Should he be on my roster? I have Wicks. I could replace. I also have CD on my team. I think Tolbert's definitely worthy of a roster spot, Applecod, but in some of the leagues where you're a little bit deeper, I still personally, I'm pulling up my rest of season rankings so I don't speak out of pocket here. I prefer Wicks to Tolbert still. So I would keep Wicks stashed and I would not drop Tolbert. Emma said, what do you think about putting the GOAT title on Brandon Albert? I mean, dude's absolutely killing it as a kicker. League winning kicker. It's crazy. I feel like I had a guy who drafted Aubrey maybe like 2 rounds before the end of a draft, and everyone was making fun of him at the draft because, you never draft kickers early because you can never predict it. But dude, he is a legit weapon. So yeah, he's definitely starting to get the GOAT title. And Justin Tucker, especially with some of his struggles, has gone down. Lucas said start Hurts or Jaden Daniels this week, 0.5 PPR. I will be going with Jaden Daniels. Just have some odd feeling about Daniels getting smashed this week, thinking back of Purdy versus Ravens last year. I mean, I just think it's so hard for me to bench Jaden Daniels at this point. And you do have Jalen Hurts with A.J. Brown back, which is definitely going to help. But I personally lean the Jaden Daniels side there, Lucas, still. Unless it's W. Jaime said, where do you see Scary Terry rest of the season? He's been trying to be a top 20. Hopefully it goes off against Baltimore. Actually, I realized I had my rest of season rankings when I was pulling up my quarterback rankings. So, pause. Let me get back to this. Lucas, if you're still here, go with Hurts. I prefer Hurts this week. In regards to my rest of season rankings, like I said, I'm flipping between two different spreadsheets. Scary Terry, for me, I have him as a top 20 wide receiver rest of season. So wide receiver 20 is currently where I have him, Jaime. So feel pretty good about it. But like I said, we need to continue to see this Jaden Daniels-led offense just continue to keep doing what they're doing. Applecott said, thoughts on this trade? Travis Etienne and Amari Cooper for Zay Flowers and Montgomery. I want the Zay Flowers and Montgomery side. I think you're getting the better player on each side. So give me Zay Flowers and Montgomery for sure. Elma said he's going to keep going up, and so is Daniels. Yep, he is. DD Red Solo Cup said trade Jamison Williams and Drake London for Tyreek and Devontae Adams. Love London's playoff schedule, but it's also Tyreek. Yeah. So I still at this point have Drake London ahead of Tyreek Hill rest of season, but then I do have Devontae Williams ahead of Jamison Williams by 3 spots. So personally, to me, it's so close that I probably still lean the Drake London side, just because we know he's got Kirk Cousins. If something happens to Kirk Cousins, he's got Michael Penix, where we're banking on Tua coming back from this concussion and him not getting another concussion. Not to say that we can't just bank on that, but I personally lean the Drake London and Jamison Williams side, and it's kind of crazy, DD, that I'm saying that. Devo said Moss or Gibson. Stevenson is out. I still go with Zach Moss over Gibson. We still have to remember it's Drake May. So it's a rookie level quarterback. Of course, there's going to be the dump offs. Of course, they're going to rely on the run, but the offensive line is just so atrocious. So I lean Zach Moss this week, Debo. Appreciate you. Andre said, what's up, bro? You nervous for the game Sunday? What? Are we, what do you mean am I nervous for the game? What, the Bengals game? I'm not nervous. I think you're nervous, bro. I think you're nervous. Versus the Giants? Come on. Easy dub. Easy dub. Miss win game. Joey B is locked. He's got to be. He's got to be locked. He's got to be locked. Yeah, it's the Bengals versus the Giants. It's us Bengals fans have been living in absolute freaking mediocrity over here. GF said, dude, you pronounced my name perfectly. Props. What? Giafon? Gfon? How did I say it? Gfon Kim? Did I say it right the first time? If I botch it, I botch almost everyone's name. Like, I'll get it right and then I'll botch it again. Lily, Jar Jar, which I don't know if he's in here yet. His name's actually Jar, but I called him Jar Jar, like Jar Jar Binks for the longest time because my brain couldn't wrap around it. And now he's changed his emoji face character to be Jar Jar Binks. Jesus says, is it dumb to start Love, Jacobs, and Craft Stack on a weekly basis from now on? I don't think it's dumb. I think there's going to come times where you're going to want to put in, of course, different players. But just depending on the matchup, depending on your start-sit decisions, definitely not a bad thing. Is Braylon Allen worth a stash? 100%. Keep that boy locked and loaded. If we look at the snap share, he's only continuing to... I know his snap share wasn't great, but when he's in there, they are getting him involved. So I still have Braylon Allen as a stash. Element says, Jamar Chase is 100%, no doubt in my mind, getting a touchdown Sunday. Preach it. Preach, hopefully. He's usually not good about pronouncing names. Element, call me out. I'm not. It's my, like, weakness on this channel. But honestly, even I get play. I still cannot, like, if you ask me to say Devon Achan, like I always go back and forth because I learned it the wrong way and then I always like mispronounce it. And so I'm literally like, if you see me just say the name Devon, it's because I don't want to say the last name because I always botch it. John said Chase Brown or Bucky Irving. John, I will be going with Chase Brown. Richie said start Roshan, Braylon Allen, or Dare Goombalam. I'm not even going to do it. I would start Roshan this week, Richie. Hope for a touchdown. Hope for a tutty. Lethal, appreciate you tuning in. You said PPR. I'm 4-1 and was looking for upside later. Okay, pause. I'm realizing. Pause. Did we do something? Cool. Sorry, I was just double checking. PPR on 4-1. I was looking for upside later. I traded B-Rob and Zach Moss for Devon. Thoughts? I think this is an interesting one, Lethal, where Devon, it depends on how you view Devon. Like, I saw Devon as a top 12 running back rest of the season, but I do have Brian Robinson as a top 16. So then you're adding in a valuable running back like a Zach Moss. So I think it's a fair deal. I think if you're shooting for ultimate upside, you probably could have gotten a better running back, like potentially like a James Cook or a Kenneth Walker, that it maybe would have preferred a little bit more lethal rest of the season. But all in all, I was a huge Devon guy, and especially if Tua comes back, a lot of things are going to be excited for him there, Lethal. So I do like that trade for you. Michael said start 2, 1 at wide receiver, 1 at flex out of Irving, Cooper, Najee, BTJ. Yeah, so I will be personally starting BTJ and Najee, Michael. That's who I'm going with. But Bucky is biting at the hips right there, for sure. Rumpel said, "LOL, Elma, I could tell he was sweating a bit on that name, but he nailed it." You guys are terrible. Elma said, "Yeah, I'm subscribed to him. I'll be in his stream every once in a while." Yeah, shout out to Andrew over at the League FFB. Debo said, "Do you think Jaylen Warren should be rostered?" I mean, I just think the hard part is where Jaylen Warren, for him to have any type of value, he's going to have to essentially, something's going to have to happen to Najee Harris. And so unless something happens to Najee, then Jaylen Warren's there. But then you're still talking about if Justin Fields is a starting quarterback, Justin Fields has a ton of rushing upside. So yeah, that's kind of how we're looking. Notable competition said, Caleb's coming up. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Thanks for all the kind words. Jackie says, should I try to trade Deontay Johnson, BTJ, and Javonte for Devon, or does that break my wide receiver room? Should I try to trade Deontay, BTJ, and Javonte? That just feels like a freaking lot. And I think your advantage right now with your wide receiver room is you got 2 top 12 guys, Deontay, who's nipping at top 15, and then BTJ is surging right now. So I feel like you're giving up 2, and I guess you said Deontay or BTJ and Javonte. I would probably do one. I'd probably do BTJ and Javonte to get to one, honestly, but I'm not giving up all 3, Jackie. So if you're doing all 3, don't do it. But I would do just BTJ and Javonte to get to Devon to help out your running back room. Element said, I have $17. Shout out to you, Element. PR said, how have these 2 weeks of injury, ? From Jonathan Taylor, Miller, neighbors affected your thoughts on them? I think Malik Neighbors, we're just dealing with a concussion. All concussions are different. And so I'm having a positive attitude towards Malik Neighbors. In regards to how we're having to view Jonathan Taylor, like I said, not practicing at all this week. And then I think he'll play next week for sure. But it is a little bit upsetting. But we do know, I mean, injuries are a part of this game. Like the attrition that we saw through the first 5 weeks is only going to double in the next 5 weeks. Like that's the game we play. So you're just trying to stay as healthy as possible. So if it takes them longer to come back, like I'd rather them take longer to come back and be fully healthy than to try to come back, play through some injury, and then absolutely get out for season. So it's not ideal, but we still have it humming. Element says, Hubbard is a huge waiver wire pickup for me in 2 leagues. Yeah, I still think Jonathan Brooks will eventually take over, but Hubbard's been absolutely balling, so you gotta get some Hubbard. PRF said, who would you rather have, Xavier Worthy or Jalen Waddle? Xavier Worthy. That seems crazy to say Xavier Worthy over Jalen Waddle, but I can't in good conscience continue to just let Jalen Waddle sit here as we're waiting on Tua. Now, 13 fantasy points in week 1. That was great. And he's getting involved. Like he got 8 targets for 46 yards last Sunday, but still give me Xavier Worthy over Jalen Waddle. Because they're trying to trade for a wide receiver, but it's Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce as the 2 main receiving options for Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, give me Xavier Worthy. Jaime said Slayton or Wandell this week. I want Wandell over Slayton for sure. Element says, I think I'm going to start Wandell at flex because that Cincinnati D has shown to be terrible. It has. It really has. Rumble says, as a season-long pick and starter, bench him. He hasn't done anything but disappoint me. Not much worth in trades, but I can't bring myself to drop him either. Yeah, that's exactly where we're at with George Pickens. Daniel Cap said, need RB and flex PPR. Monty, Pollard, Kirk, Tolbert, Bowers, starting Mason, St. Brown, McLaurin, McBride, question mark. Yeah. So I want Monty for sure. And then I want Pollard. You're starting McBride over Bowers? Yeah, I agree with that. So I would go with Monty and Pollard as the 2 options there. Daniel Caps, appreciate you. John said Kraft or Schultz with no Nico. I would go with Tucker Kraft. Appreciate you, John. Okay. Timbo, I can't answer your questions. The fantasy football girl told me I am not allowed to answer your questions. But you said I'm going Slayton over Pickens. Okay. I see you. Shit, call your shot. And then you said fantasy football girl is scared. She should be. I'm scared over here too because I feel like I'm getting in between this showdown that's happening on Sunday. But I will have to say someone's gonna have to report back to me and let me know who won because I'm excited to see. I don't know who I'm cheering for right now, but I'm cheering for both of you. I wish let's hope it ends in a tie for the sake of the home. Jared said, Godwin, Smith, Scary Terry, Cooper, Dell, and Olave start 2 wide receivers in a flex full PPR. Who do I pick? So we're going to be going with Chris Godwin. We're going to be going with Scary Terry. We're going to be going with Devontae Smith. That is who I'm going with. So, but Chris Olave and Devontae Smith are back-to-back to me. So I wanted to say Chris Olave after my video today, but I do have Devontae Smith a little bit higher. Oh, Notable said can't start both. Oh, crap, Notable. Crap, who did I say? Crap. Notable, I'm so sorry. Hopefully you're still here. You said start Jahmyr Gibbs or Saquon. Yeah. Oh, I see what you said. You went with Mason. Yeah, I still go with Saquon. Still go with Saquon. Rumpel said how? Amen. Yeah, crazy. Jordan Mason last night. John said sit 1. PPR Drake London, Devontae Smith, Tank Dell, or Garrett Wilson. I will be sitting Tank Dell. John, but you got some good options there. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, guys, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. If there's not one that needs a little bit more explanation, I usually just tell you. So I'm not trying to move fast, but we do have a lot of questions piling up. Cameron said, 14-man league, my active running backs are K9 and ETN. Do I trust this team to win me 2 to 4 more weeks, or do I move CMC for a new wide receiver? I just think if you've been holding it down and you're doing okay, then I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait on CMC. Because especially in a 14-man league, and if you already have K9 and ETN, you're going to be in a good spot. So personally for me, I would just hold on to CMC and hope it works out for you, Cameron. Daniel Cap said, I'm 1-4 with Kyler, H.A. Yeah, goodness. I'm 1-4 and I'm cursed on Thursday Night Football. You got a good team. Like, in the sense of, like, you got Terry, who's emerging. We got Puka, who's been injured. St. Brown starting to turn it on. Like, Devon. This is one of those where maybe we need to make some moves on the outside. But I'm continuing to rock with it. I think the biggest question would be the Kyler. Could we get, like, a more elite level quarterback? And even if we had to send away, like, Terry and Kyler to get that tier up, I think that'd be a move that I'd look at Daniel Caps. But otherwise, I'm probably just holding. And or trading one of the tight ends so you don't have such a hard decision each week. Timbo said, I'm dropping Slayton as soon as Neighbors comes back. Yeah, Slayton's going to have zero value once Neighbors comes back. Rumble Force said, what about your flex notable? Who's starting there? We'll see what he says. Who else? Big Dog. Big Dog. Appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for tuning into the channel. You say, got to drop 2 for defense and kickers. Thoughts? Sermon, Tracy, Ridley, Tolbert, Juju, Slayton, Gibson. Well, if you're not playing Slayton, then just drop Slayton. It's a 1-week rental anyway. So I'm cool dropping Slayton. And then in regards to everybody else, this is juicy. This is juicy because Juju did have such a good week last week. I have Juju lower in my rest of season rankings, but if I see him do it again this week, it's going to be really hard not to just accelerate him up my rest of season rankings. I'm personally here going to say Slayton and Gibson, assuming you're not playing Gibson. If he's not starting for you, then I'm cool. Gibson and Slayton would be the 2 that I would cut off your team. Daniel Cap said, had Mason last night. My opponent had a Walker, so I feel you with Mason. A lot of people are hurting with their Jordan Mason shares. MH said, my league mates are considering vetoing this trade. Curious what you think. I'm giving up Jaden Daniels, Devontae Smith, and Ramondre and receiving A.J. Brown, D. Swift, and Deontay Johnson. I think that's a fair deal. I think they probably, like, people that are league mates, they typically are like, well, you're giving, like, they don't want you to get A.J. Brown because your team probably, you already have another quarterback. And then they're like, D. Smith. So A.J. Brown, in their mind, is ahead of Jaden Daniels. Then you got D. Swift, who a lot of people are going to be taking over Ramondre. And then a lot of people will have Deontay Johnson and D. Smith the same. So it's not veto worthy. I swear leagues that do vetoes, like, I understand why, because you don't want your friend who loses all their games to trade away all their players. But personally for me, that is not veto worthy. MH, sorry that's going to happen. Tricks, what's up? What's up? How's it going? It's going good, bro. Going good. Good to see ya. Daniel Cap said, I dropped Juju and Sermon for this week with Casey on bye. Okay. Adam said, would you trade Cooks, Wicks, and Komet for Gibbs and Mooney? Yes, give me Gibbs and Mooney. Adam, thanks so much for tuning into the channel. Like I said, guys, this is your first time. Hit that like button. It helps me out so much. Gabriel said, Jones has to throw it to basically Slayton or Wandell to keep up. BTJ has a tough matchup, man. BTJ and Tolbert over Slayton is tough. Hey, that's how my rankings have it. I understand that he has to throw it to him. It doesn't mean they're going to catch the ball. That's the thing. That's the thing. Malik Neighbors is doing absolutely amazing with Daniel Jones and that arm. But we'll have to see how it goes this week, Gabriel. So if you want to play Slayton, be my guest. I guess maybe I'm just not high on Slayton this week. Mark, appreciate you. You said full PPR need 2 running backs, Algier, Pierce, Sermon, or Braylon Allen. I will be going with Sermon, and then I'll be going with Braylon Allen. Mark, those would be the 2 that I go with. Braylon Allen and Trey Sermon, dude. Thanks so much for tuning in. Appreciate you. Frank Moody, are you related to Jake Moody, the kicker for the 49ers? Let me know. Williams over Allen at quarterback this week. Listen, it's a terrible matchup for Josh Allen. Don't get me wrong. But Caleb Williams versus Jacksonville, I mean, it is a good matchup, but I don't think in my right mind, I have them 4 spots. Like, I have Caleb Williams higher than I've had him all season, and I have Josh Allen lower. I'm still going with Josh Allen over Caleb Williams. But I understand the thought process. John said, Hurts or Cousins? I have AJ. Hurts or Cousins? Yeah, I would go with Jalen Hurts this week, John. It's hard. It's hard after what we just saw last week of Kirk Cousins, but he also threw the ball almost 60 times. So personally for me, I will be going with Jalen Hurts. Derek, appreciate you tuning in. You said Roshan Johnson or Braylon Allen. And let me pull up my rankings. I will be going with Braylon Allen, but it's kind of crazy that I'm saying that because we've seen this touchdown. Like DeAndre Swift runs the ball all the way down the field, and then they just hand the ball. They just hand the ball to Roshan Johnson, which is frustrating for us DeAndre Swift owners. John said Richardson or Cousins. Do we know? Is Richardson officially starting this week? I go with Kirk Cousins though. I'm not rolling out Richardson. Give me Kirk Cousins. John, appreciate you. Who else? Big Dog said, who would you start, Slayton or Tolbert over Pickens and Ridley this week? Matchup seems sick, and the guys ahead of them are out. Yeah, you're in a little bit of a rough spot. Who else, Dog? But when you're down, you're not out though. So I personally would be going with. I'll play Pickens, and then between Ridley and Tolbert. I think we go Tolbert. I have Ridley 2 spots ahead of my rankings, but I think I'm going to adjust that after this stream, Big Dog. So I would go with Pickens and Tolbert would be the way that I would go. Apple Cod said, thoughts on this trade? Etienne and Amari for Tank Dell and Montgomery. I went the Tank Dell and Montgomery side there, Apple Cod, for sure. Abaru, appreciate you tuning in. You said best stream defense for week 7? For week 7. Ooh. You know, I should probably start putting that, Abaru, in my stash video just so that people can start to look that way. I honestly haven't even... I've barely got week 6 down the board. But let me since you asked the question, let me pull up some options here. The Patriots would probably be a good defense to potentially stream. You could look at, I mean, it's hard to know what's out there for you. The Rams defense versus the Raiders, that could be an interesting one. The Broncos versus the Saints, especially with no Derek Carr. That could be another good one there, bro. Applecott said, have a good rest of your night, Caleb. I'm out of here for tonight. Peace. Oh, dude. Hopefully you got to see me answer that question. If not, apologies, man. Jaime said, asking for a friend. Daniels plus Marvin Harrison Jr. for CD and B-Rob. His other QB is Lamar, and wide receivers are Marvin Harrison Jr. So, personally for me here, I want... yeah. That is a tough one. His other quarterback. So, yeah, if he doesn't need Daniels, then I'm cool getting the CD and B-Rob side because I have CD so much higher in my rest of season rankings. Chaz says, PPR, should I flex, start Bucky or Deontay? Thanks, Chaz. Appreciate you tuning in. I will be flexing Deontay Johnson this week. For sure. For sure, my guy. Lethal said, I have James Cook, Monty already, and I'm stacked at wide receiver, but I'm hoping Tua comes back. Thank you. Of course, dude. Good to hear how stacked your loaded your team is. PRF said, start one, Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Trey Sermon. If I have to start one PRF, I will be going with Chase Brown over Bucky Irving. John said, Kyler or Hurts this week. I will be going with Hurts this week. Let me give you... I have Jalen Hurts as my QB2, and I have Kyler Murray as my QB5. So give me Kyler Murray. All right, give me Jalen Hurts. Sorry, John. Jalen Hurts. That's what I want. Trix says, pick 2 between Pickens, Ridley, Wicks, Slayton, Tolbert, and Jahan Dotson. If I had to pick between the 2, I will be going with Pickens. And we just had this discussion, and you might have heard it here, Trix. But I do have Ridley 2 spots ahead of Tolbert. But I think in my heart of hearts, I do want to go with Tolbert over Ridley. So I'd go with Pickens and Tolbert. And that's risky. Because all those guys are clumped together there, Trix, for me. LSX Firebird, appreciate you being here. What running back should I go after if I have Marvin Harrison Jr.? Great question if you need a running back and you're wanting to make some trades. I'm personally going to be targeting, can you go get a Devon? Can you get a Jonathan Taylor? Can you get a James Conner? That would kind of be the range of guys that I would be looking to target. If with Marvin Harrison Jr., if I can't get any of them, no problem. I'm just going to hold Marvin Harrison Jr. So that's kind of how I'm looking at things. Victor says I got Terry and Mooney, but I also got Drake London, so Mooney was free waiver wire. James Cook wants Mooney and Terry for James Cook. James Cook wants Mooney and Terry. Yeah. I would do Terry and Mooney for James Cook. 100% Victor. Do that trade, dude. Do that trade. Alex said my running backs are Monty, Singletary, Braylon Allen. Yeah. And so I would target those guys. Marvin Harrison Jr., like that would be straight up. If you wanted to do like a BTJ potentially and BTJ and Monty, you could probably like package those two guys together and get let up into like a Kenneth Walker, Jahmyr Gibbs potentially, depending on how your league mate feels. Victor said you got scary. Yes. Cam the Ham said, would you trade Jordan Mason and Mooney? Yes, Cam the Ham. If someone hasn't realized that Jordan Mason is essentially going to be dead in 2 weeks and you're getting the better wide receiver and running back here, Cam the Ham, take it and run to the bank. Thomas Medina, appreciate you tuning in, dude. You said, hola, appreciate you, dude. He said, pick 2, por favor. Rico, Tank, Tracy, PPR can't decide. Oh my goodness, you're giving me all the Spanish vibes. Let me know where you're from. I would go with Rico and I would go with Tracy. That's who I'm going with this week. And I don't care if Devin Singletary is back this week. I'm still taking Tracy over Tank. So Rico and Tracy would be the ways that I'm going, Thomas. But that is a hard decision for sure. We got pick 2 for rest of season. Bigsby, Rico, Singletary, Rashad White, 0.5 PPR. It's hard for me to push. I've pushed people down. But I would be going with Rico. And then where do I have Singletary? I will go with Rico and Singletary. I do have Rashad White behind. I do have him behind. And I do have Bigsby behind. But Tank Bigsby could actually, hypothetically, get pushed ahead of Singletary if we start to see him really eat a lot more into Travis Etienne's overall role. Victor said also for flex, full PPR, Bucky, Deontay, Etienne, McConnell, pick 1. I'll be going with Deontay Johnson. Victor, appreciate you tuning in. Jaime said, boss, should I grab and start some Theo Johnson this week over Kincaid? Neighbors out. I can't get there. I cannot get to Theo Johnson. I've talked about him, I feel like, in like 2 stash videos 2 weeks ago. I still roll out Don Kincaid, even though, Jaime, I feel terrible telling you that, but I just, at this point, the tight end landscape is so bad. I just don't, no one asks me any more tight end start sit questions. I don't think I can answer. But being real about it, I do think I would look at still doing Kincaid this week. PR said, would you trade Jonathan Taylor in a piece for Breece Hall? Do you have to even do a piece? I mean, sure. Depends on what that piece is, PRF. I want Breece Hall on my team personally, so if it's a small piece where like I could probably replace that on the waiver wire, sure, I'm cool with that. Just kind of depends on that piece. Rise above anything. Appreciate you tuning in. He said, Flex, would you do Downs or Antonio Gibson this week? I will be doing Antonio Gibson just because we know the volume that he's going to get. If I knew Joe Flacco was going to be the starter for the Indianapolis Colts, rise above everything, then I will 100% be throwing Josh Downs. He'd be way higher up my rankings. But since I don't know that at this current moment, then we're just going to say I would go with Downs. Or go with Antonio Gibson. And Face Football Girl, I did not see your super chat until now, so I'm so sorry if you were waiting. I don't know why my system didn't pay me. Frustrating. But you said Team 2, Prescott, Fields, wide receivers Lamb, Deontay Johnson, Evans, running backs K9, Played, Bigsby, or Roshan Johnson. Should I flex one of these running backs or Freiermuth? Other tight end is Bowers. Yeah, so I'm so of course you're starting Bowers. So in regards to who you're, is this against Timbo? This is against Timbo. You let me know. Personally, I am. If I'm having to flex one, yeah, I would just flex Roshan and hope for a tutty. K9. Yeah. I don't want to rule out Freiermuth. So, and in regards to Prescott versus Fields, I'm going with Prescott. So give me Dak Prescott. So you got Prescott, Lamb, Deontay Johnson, Mike Evans, Kenneth Walker, Bigsby, and Roschon. But if I'm misunderstanding, if you only need one running back, then I would go with Roschon Johnson over Tank Bigsby. Let me know if that helps you, Fantasy Football Girl. Appreciate you so much. Let me go back to where we were at. Fantasy Football Girl. Appreciate you and Timbo support the channel like no one other. So I just absolutely appreciate both of you. And then we got Tingley said, I want to pick up Juju before waivers, but who to drop? Fields, AR, Andrew are likely. Yeah, personally for me, at this point I would feel any of these guys. I feel like I want to tell you to drop Isaiah Likely here, Tingley. The problem is I forget what your tight end situation is, but I personally lean Isaiah Likely here. Rise above everything. I just picked up Cup in my 10-man league. Someone dropped. Oh goodness. Go absolutely crazy, dude. Congrats on getting Cup for free. Dale said, thanks for the input. I picked up McBride over Bowers because I'm a Raiders fan and I don't like I understand it, Daniel Caps. Tingley said, flex PPR, Wicks, Leggett, Tracy, or Polk. Personally for me, Tingley, I will be going with Wicks. But it's close between Wicks and Tracy if Singletary is out. Cam the Ham said, currently 3-2 because I've lost by 1 point and a half point another week. That's fantasy football in a nutshell if I've ever heard it. So just continue grinding. Sounds like your team's pretty good. Daniel Cap said, I'm trying to stay afloat, but I need Tua back so Devon can get going and Puka needs to come back soon. I'm right there with you. We need both of these guys back ASAP. Tingley said, you like Wicks or Dubs PPR? I personally like Wicks this week, Tingley, over Dubs. Cooper, good to see you. You said, I traded Brian Thomas, Eckler, and Minnesota defense for Tony Pollard. Is that a good trade? Who won? You traded Brian Thomas Jr., Eckler, Minnesota defense for Tony Pollard? Well, I'll say this. I will say this, just so you're aware of my rest of season rankings. I have Tony Pollard as my overall player 42, and then I have Brian Thomas as my overall player 49. So it's about a 7-spot difference, and they're getting the Minnesota defense plus Eckler, which Eckler, honestly, in most leagues is nothing crazy. But I probably, I understand why you did it, especially if you needed serious running back help. But I do think the package, Cooper, ends up winning out if you're taking it, looking at it straight up. But if it helps your team, sometimes you have to lose a trade to help your team. So I'm not being dumb to that, Cooper. But if it helps your team get a better RB2, then I think it's definitely a win for you. Lethal said, I'm in a tough flex spot this week since we start 3 wide receivers in a 12-man. Would you roll out Keenan Allen and pray, or maybe McLeod? Open to suggestions to grab. Yeah, I told someone tonight to start Ray, but that wasn't me feeling super confident in it. I would still start Keenan Allen. I have Keenan Allen as my wide receiver 39. But once we get past wide receiver 28 to wide receiver 29, it's kind of just a crapshoot. We all know this. But I would go with Keenan Allen. Dust Clan said, in full PPR, who would you want to start between Trey Sermon, Brian Robinson Jr., or Chase Brown? This week for me, just double checking, I believe it's Chase Brown. Yeah, I'd be going with Chase Brown. Give me some Chase Brown. Especially with Brian Robinson being a little bit nicked up in a pretty bad matchup. Frank, appreciate you. He said no relation to Jake. Okay. Frank said, Allen has been hurting me. Yeah, I understand. Josh Allen has been hurting you. Jackson, appreciate you. Said, really struggling to sit one between Mixon, Hall, Garrett Wilson, or Reed. Goodness. For me personally, with Joe Mixon still being limited, I probably just roll with Hall, Garrett Wilson, and Reed. But going forward, you're going to still continue to have hard decisions. Hopefully the next few weeks with some of the buys will kind of help make that decision a little easier. Who else, Big Dog? Said, thank you for your thoughts. Appreciate you, Big Dog. Appreciate you, Big Dog. Thanks so much for tuning in. John said, need a flex. Braylon Allen, Singletary, Dubs, or Hutchinson. I will be going with Singletary, John. Assuming he plays. If he does not play, then I would just go with Braylon Allen. Fantasy Football Girl, as always, appreciate the 10. Thanks so much. Hope that question helped you. Iggy said, hi, Caleb. Is Bucky Irving or Dunze worth number 1 waiver wire? Iggy, yes, Bucky Irving is worth the number 1 waiver wire. Go and do it before it's up. Jaime said, I know I wish I landed Kittle over any tight end at this point. Yeah, tight end landscape's terrible. Thomas, Panama, appreciate you, bro. Thanks so much for tuning in from overseas. I say overseas. Technically, we're connected with the continent, but you know what I mean. Bike Walkers MTB said, what's up? I have Etienne and Bigsby. Who do I start? I would still start Etienne. Also need to flex Mooney, Jameson Williams, or Bigsby. I personally go with Jameson Williams. So I go with Etienne and Jameson Williams there, Bike Walkers. But I do understand the worry with Travis Etienne, especially after what we saw last week. PRF said, thanks for the help. Wish you a great rest of the stream. Great stream as always. Hey, PRF, appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, we'll see if we go live tomorrow. I always like to go live on a Saturday night, but my Buckeyes are playing, and last time I did a stream and I was kind of distracted. So I don't want to give you guys half of me, but I'm also posting a video tomorrow. So I'm like trying to figure out at what point I think I might stream like mid-afternoon sometime at like 12, 1 or 2 Eastern Standard Time. It's kind of my thoughts, but we'll see how things end up playing out. Parth, appreciate you said bench 2 in PPR, Sermon, Wicks, Antonio Gibson, McConkey, Tolbert, Slayton. Bench 2. I will bench McConkey. And I will bench Slayton. I'll play Sermon, Wicks, Antonio Gibson, and Tolbert. So McConkey, Slayton, see you on the bench. Fantasy Football Girl said, yes, help me out. Thank you so much. Hey, appreciate you. Thank you so much for everything. Sorry I didn't get to the super chat as fast as I would like to, Fantasy Football Girl, but appreciate you so much. Rams House 99 said, Dynasty full PPR 0.75 for tight ends. Superflex start 11-12 team. I'm 3-7. Lineup Kyler, Caleb, Bijan, Hill. I traded Bijan for Reed and Jason. I think that's a dub for you. I do think the part that you traded Bijan. Wait, you traded Reed and JSN for Bijan? Personally, for me, I probably lean the Reed and JSN side. I understand you have a ton of wide receivers, so I understand like why you would do that. I just would feel like if we're 3-7, I don't know how much, unless Bijan Robinson absolutely turns it around. Like, it's a contending move right now, but I don't know if you're a contender. And that's just me being honest. That's banking on Caleb Williams turning things around. That's assuming TJ Hawkinson comes back fully healthy. So for me, I would have looked to trade Bijan. If this deal is about to happen or it has happened, I want the Reed and JSN side. Personally, Rams House. Victor said, pick 2, need 2 flexes. Options are Dontavian, Wicks, Zach Moss, Leggett, Sutton, Johnson. Yeah, I would go with Zach Moss and Wicks. There, Victor. Matt Wingo said, you recommended Pollard over Hubbard this week, but does that increase usage of Spears received last game a concern? You know what, Matt Wingo, I'm so glad you came back into this because we said I recommended Pollard over Hubbard. At this moment, I do have Hubbard ahead of Pollard. I did do some adjusting on rankings. Did I tell you this earlier today? I responded to a bunch of comments and I probably told you the wrong one in my head. Personally, for me, I would go with Hubbard over Pollard. And that seems to be the way that you're leaning too. So I would go that way, Matt. Appreciate you. Jaime said, my friend said his league mates backed out of the deal for CDB. Robbie said to go after Diggs, Debo, or Evans. What are your thoughts on who he should go after to trade away Daniel's puzzle piece? Yeah, any of them. Personally, not Diggs. I prefer Debo or Evans. Rest of season, Jaime. Evans first, then Debo, then Diggs. Yeah, I agree. If you can do that same package, you get one of those guys. And maybe get a piece thrown in. That's what I want to do. Victor says, asking for different leagues, FYI. Totally. You guys are allowed to ask as many questions. I assumed. Oh, goodness. PRF, I skipped your last question. I start Josh Allen over Jordan Love. I also need one flex. So I will do Jordan Love over Josh Allen this week. Yep. Also need one flex. Wandell, Wicks. I will go with Wandell there, Victor. So I would go with Jordan Love and Wandell. PRF, what question? What question did I skip over? You said nervous about trading Jonathan Taylor. Who's that one that's getting every rep for someone that is kind of splitting reps like Brees Hall? Who is the one that's getting every rep for someone that is kind of splitting reps like Brees Hall? What do you mean? PRF, I'm confused. I think I see. Not that I purposely skipped over this, but are you meaning like Trey Sermon eating more into the workload? Or I can maybe answer this if you're leaving the stream. Sorry I didn't get to it. Desk Clan said, would you start Evan Ingram or Cade Otton this week? Also, thanks for all the help. Yeah, I would go Evan Ingram, assuming he plays. Jesse, appreciate you tuning in, guys. Like I said, if this is your first time tuning in the channel, absolutely appreciate all the love and support. We answer every start sit question here on the stream, so it means the world. Jesse said, since Neighbor's out, I have to go either Olave, Downs, or Tolbert at wide receiver 2. Also can pick up, I don't know what to do. Yeah, I'm personally going with Olave. I have Olave pretty high. I had him in my video today. I'm pretty excited. Even though I know Spencer Rattler starting at quarterback, I would still go with Olave. Jesse, appreciate you tuning in. Casey said, with Rachaad White doubtful, would you start Bucky Irving? Yes. Yes, Casey. Start Bucky Irving over Amari Cooper. I'm right there with you. Jaime said, Ohio State versus Oregon. Someone's going 7-0. Someone will be 6-1. Should I bet on OSU? Depends on how good of a bettor you are, Jaime. I don't want you jinxing my Buckeyes tomorrow. But it should be a really great game. So shout out to you. If you guys are wondering why Caleb's not responding to start sit questions between 7:30 and like 10, that's because I will be watching the game. But feel free to still ask me questions on any video. Iggy said, is Devon, Gino, and Dell for Love, Monty, and Leggett beatable? I don't think it's beatable because I think Monty as like, I think I have Love higher rest of season. Monty is 2 spots behind Devon, and I understand why you potentially would think it's beatable, but I think it's still a very fair offer there for the team. And then Matt Wingo said, no worries, man. Appreciate it. Of course, Matt Wingo. Appreciate you and all the love and support that you guys continue to give me. Bryce Long, appreciate you. Thanks so much for tuning in to the channel. You said trade Deontay Johnson, Bucky Downs for Marvin Harris Jr. and Spears. Thoughts? Trade Deontay Johnson, Bucky Downs. Yeah, give me the Marvin Harrison Jr. side. I think there's a lot more upside, but Deontay Johnson's absolutely been cooking, Bryce. So I understand why you would do this deal, but personally for me, I do want the Marvin Harrison Jr. and Spears side. PRF said, it's all good. That's my bad for wording. Autocorrect. I'm saying I'm not sure about trading Jonathan Taylor for someone like Brees Hall who's getting more and more reps taken away from Allen. Okay, this makes a lot more sense, PRF. So thanks so much for tuning in. That's a very valid argument. For me, it just continues to be that the workload, like, if you look at the overall snap share, Brees Hall, his snap share is still elite. We're talking about a 75 to 80% snap share. Braylon Allen, at his top, got a 33% snap share, and it's hovered between 15 to 33. Now, the issue is that when Braylon Allen goes onto the field, they proceed to give him the ball at every opportunity. So it looks like it's hurting Brees Hall's overall numbers, when in reality, they are just running the ball a lot more. And with this new offensive coordinator, with them passing the torch from Nathaniel Hackett to Todd, I'm trying to remember his last name, Bowling or whatever it is, he absolutely runs the ball into the ground. So I think that's probably going to be good things for Braylon Allen, if I'm being completely honest. And I think it's going to be good things for Brees Hall. But I understand the worry. I still want Brees Hall over Jonathan Taylor rest of the season, though. Jaime said, JK, I won't bet. I don't want to jinx anything. I already jinxed. Yeah, back off. Back off, buddy. Back off. We need a win tomorrow. We need a win tomorrow. Uzi in the booth. We got London on the track. That's why I don't know why we did that. But Tucker Kraft or Jake Ferguson this week. Uzi, I personally go with Jake Ferguson. But I have Jake Ferguson 2 spots ahead of Tucker Kraft. And like I said, guys, if you guys are tuning into the channel, we answer every start-sit question that comes our way. So if you guys are just now finding the channel, thank you so much. My name's Caleb. I make fantasy football content weekly, daily, answering all your start-sit questions. So absolute blast. Glad to have you here in the best community. We're building from the ground up on the way to 4,000 subscribers. Amazing things this community is doing. So I appreciate all y'all. Chaka said, hey, would you trade Kamara for Brees straight up? Redraft PPR. Love Hall's schedule coming up. There's going to be people that are telling you you're absolutely crazy for doing it, but I prefer Brees Hall over Kamara rest of season. So I'm right there with you, Chaka. Isaac said, who should I drop Leggett for Jalen Wright, Ray Davis, Matson, or Tolbert? Isaac, it depends on, this is how I look at it. If you need production this week, it kind of depends on what you need. I probably would drop Leggett for Tolbert. The way Tolbert's been playing, and knowing that it's in the Dallas Cowboys offense, where you're looking at the Carolina offense. You got Leggett, you got Deontay Johnson, you got Adam Thielen. I personally do want Tolbert. But I know there's probably going to be people that tell you Xavier Leggett. So it just kind of depends on your audience, on who you're with. But yeah, personally, I would go with Tolbert over Leggett rest of the season. And then Chaka said, also have to start 4 between Deontay Johnson, D. Smith, Higgins, DJ Moore, BTJ Cooper. Goodness gracious. We will for sure be going with Deontay. We're going to be going... Goodness. Let me just pull this up, Chaka, because I don't want to speak out of hand. You got so many guys that are very similarly ranked. Yeah, so we got Deontay, and then we're going to go... Good catch, Caleb. I almost gave me my rest of season rankings. Yeah, Deontay, then Devontae, then Brian Thomas, then DJ Moore. Deontay, Devontae, DJ Moore, BTJ, and not playing T. Higgins. That's insane. That's insane. You know what? I'm going to change this, Chaka. I'm going to talk myself into T. Higgins right now. I just have a feeling. So give me Deontay, D. Smith, Higgins, and DJ Moore. It's hard for me to tell you to bench BTJ, but I'm changing this on the spot. Bat You Pipe said, Caleb, you're the GOAT. Appreciate you, bro. Thanks so much for tuning in. You said, Uzi said, just traded Pittman for Kareem Hunt straight up. Boom. That's a dub. Yeah, that's a dub. That's a dub. And especially, like, I like Michael Pittman Jr., but if I like Michael Pittman Jr. less when Anthony Richardson's throwing him the ball. So there's no way that the Colts in their right mind can just decide, oh, we're going to, bench him for Joe Flacco. Like, they're not going to do that because Anthony Richardson is the future. So I prefer Kareem Hunt. I mean, granted, you're only going to have Kareem Hunt. It's week 6. They're on bye really between week 7 to week 12 because once Isaiah Pacheco comes back, you also got Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming back. So not to say that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is all of a sudden going to overtake the Kareem Hunt. We haven't seen Clyde Edwards-Helaire do what Kareem Hunt's done since his week 1 of his rookie season. But we do have to keep that into consideration. But I do prefer Kareem Hunt. It's a stash play. Yeah, for a stash play, I do want Tolbert. Lon, sorry, dude. I saw you commented like 30 minutes before I started streaming. Sorry I didn't answer your question. You said Tank Dell or Wicks, Green Bay wide receiver. I will be going with Tank Dell this week over Wicks. Especially with him being the wide receiver too. It'll be exciting to see. Can Tank Dell, if Tank Dell can't do it without Nico Collins over the next 2 to 3 weeks, it ain't ever going to happen. But I'm loading up Tank too, Lon, so I'm right there with you. Thanks for tuning in. PR said, okay, thanks for the help. Have a great rest of the stream. One last question. Do you think me trading Jonathan Taylor and Amari Cooper for Breece Hall and Devontae Adams? Yes. Give me the Breece Hall and Devontae Adams. I still have Devontae Adams higher than Amari Cooper, and I have Breece Hall higher than Jonathan Taylor. So PRF, that's a huge deal for you. Give me that trade. I want the Breece Hall side. Ethan O'Connell, shout out to you. Shout out to your dog. Hey man, I've been debating a trade recently. The trade I receive is Pacheco, Tyreek, and Josh Jacobs. In return, I'd be trading him Kamara, Deontay Johnson, and Jonathan Brooks. Personally, for me, the best player is the Kamara, so you're giving him up. The upside is with the Tyreek and Josh Jacobs side. Let me just give you who I prefer between Josh Jacobs and I do like the schedule for Josh Jacobs coming up, but I would actually prefer James Conner rest of season over Jacobs. So if you could do Conner, Tyreek, and Pacheco, I'd do that deal, Ethan. I would do it. And we'll just keep our fingers crossed that Tua comes back. Because if Tua doesn't come back, you lose this trade. But if Tua comes back, you win the trade. I said if Tua doesn't come back, I should have clarified that. If he doesn't come back, I don't know if I said that. You lose the trade, but if he comes back, you win the trade. So Ethan, shout out to you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Kika, Savage, you ended up with Bowers, Laporta, and Hawkinson through the draft. Had to leave mid-draft, so auto-drafted, but I traded Gesicki for Kelsey. So now I'm loaded up at tight end, and I want to get rid of him. Yeah, Kika, you got all the studs. Absolutely, all the studs. For me, it's just going to depend on, like, if I have to keep, I would honestly just keep one. Or keep two. Keep Bowers and keep Kelsey. Laporta and Hawkinson, you can freaking leave the team and go trade him to someone else that needs some help. So can I trade Sam Laporta for J.K. Dobbins, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers? Like, that's who I'm kind of trying to target for Sam Laporta. And then Hawkinson, it's going to be really hard to try to trade for him or trade him away when he's injured. So if people start to kind of sniff around, then I would Kika, but at least for Sam Laporta, definitely try to get Sam Laporta off that team for any of the guys that I mentioned. Appreciate you, Kika. Thanks, Lon. You said, what year did Flacco win the Super Bowl? I forget. 2008? Am I wrong? Was it 2008? Ethan said, thanks. Chaka said, earlier this week, I traded Neighbors for Walker and Moore because my running backs were absolutely horrible. Now I'm trying to buy him back for the low. What 2 wide receivers from the lines I listed would you package him for? Chaka, honestly, any of them. But let me go back to your question with I mean, if you could do BTJ and if you could do Cooper to go get Neighbors, that's what I would do. That's what I would do, Chaka. You said I trade away Devontae Adams for Nico. I feel like Nico will return from IR before. I think that's a good move. As much as injuries stink, Nico being out, he'll be able to recover. They won't have to rush him back. And then in 4 weeks, we're looking at week 10 to the playoffs. We got a stretch run of quality Nico. So I like this deal for you. And especially if, as much as like there's all the optimism of like, oh, if Devontae Adams gets traded, like what if he gets traded to somewhere bad? Like that's a question that I don't think a lot of people are ready to kind of discuss. Joshua, appreciate you tuning in. You said need 1 running back spot and 2 at flex. J.K. Dobbins, Zach Moss, Tank Dell, and Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah, we're going to go with J.K. Dobbins. We're going to go with Brian Thomas Jr. And then we're going to go with Zach Moss. J.K. Dobbins, Zach Moss, and Brian Thomas Jr. Joshua, that is who I am going with here in the flex. Shout out to you, Frizzle. Yo. Shout out to you. Dude, you're catching the end of a stream, and so the questions are starting to dwindle down. So if you're ready to pop in here and fire out, let's get it. You know what? Someone just commented on my video and said, I am producing a hack channel. A hack channel? Define hack. Shout out to Smokey, who just said that 5 minutes ago. I'm a hack channel. Okay. Don't know what that means, but I'm here. I'm not a hack channel. I'm legit, not AI generated. So if anyone has any start-sit questions, we have caught up to, oh, here we go. Fire through. Not Asian Tufu. Shout out to you, Asian Tufu. Thanks for being here. Fantasy Football said, Element, do you have a channel? I'm really feeling your music. Yeah, he does. It's literally the one he comments on. He's got a bunch of beats and music there. Frizzle says, should I start Olave or Ridley in the flex? Frizzle, I would be starting Olave in the flex. Joshua said, thanks again. One more, Jaden Daniels or Josh Allen. Joshua, I will be starting Jaden Daniels this week over Josh Allen. Not Asian Tufu said, I got a quick question. Keon or Shaheed? I know Shaheed is the obvious choice, but I still have Shaheed ahead, but I understand why it's an interesting question. Luke said, bench 1 PPR, Tolbert, Downs, Moss. If I have to bench 1, I'll bench Tolbert. It's hard for me to bench Tolbert when we know Downs with Anthony Richardson hasn't been great. But I still have Downs ahead. Element says, all right, I'm back. He back. Fantasy Football Girl said, tell Smokey to shut up and hit that like button. Appreciate Smokey. Appreciate you, Fantasy Football Girl. I don't know. It's been interesting. Some comments I honestly do. Like if you just come in and try to blast the channel, like I'm just like, what the heck? Other times I'm like, if you have like a general criticism of something that you want me to do better, like let me know. I'm trying to improve. Like that's the whole goal. If you guys haven't checked out, this is high. Like if you want some just fun, like if you guys are big sports of the channel, like you can go watch some of my early videos. Like you can go to my channel and then push oldest, and you can go see how crappy my content was like 2 years ago. And it might make you appreciate what we're trying to do here. David said, should I do Kincaid and Brian Robinson for Kelsey? That feels like a lot, David. That feels like a lot. I mean, I personally do want Kelsey as my tight end, but Brian Robinson I do have as a top 18 running back rest of season. So you're trading the top 18 running back. Dalton Kincaid, what is tight end 7? I probably just continue to write out the Brian Robinson and Kincaid side. In my personal opinion, David. I want to say, yeah, Fantasy Girl, I do have a channel. All my music is posted on there. Thanks for the support. Yeah, of course. Go subscribe to Element. Dude's beats are, well, not playing anymore. I'll start playing them again. It's a 25-minute loop that I have, Element. of all some of your beats. I need to make a bigger one, but it's good. Frizzle said, sorry, don't mean to be a bother, but why Olave for flex? Figure Titans would have a much better matchup. Sure. And Frizzle, I think for me, when I'm looking at Calvin Ridley, it's what have you done for me lately? Chris Olave, even with Spencer Rattler being his quarterback, I have him down as my wide receiver 22. I have, when we're looking at Calvin Ridley, I have Calvin Ridley all the way down as my wide receiver 35. I mean, besides week 2, what has he done for you fantasy football wise? Like nothing. And so that's the thing for me. He's only drawing a 15% target share, so his target rate isn't even good. I just, in good conscience, Frizz, cannot tell you to start him. So I'm still starting Olave. Casey said, start 2 wide receiver, T. Higgins, Brian Thomas Jr., Amari Cooper, Michael Pittman. Casey, I will be starting T. Higgins and Brian Thomas Jr. here, my guy. Appreciate you for always coming in with the questions. Element says, what did Smokey do? Smokey just saying that I'm a hack channel or something. I don't know. He commented on my last video, so if you want to scroll through on the last video, we sent an army of people saying, no, it's not a hack channel. I'm going to respond. I'm going to see what he says. I'm going to see. But typically when I respond, no one ever comes back. Not Asian Tufu said, another super down bad question. Not Asian Tufu. Oh, goodness. You said start Tyler Goodson. Okay, we're going to start Roschon Johnson. Just because we know Roschon Johnson has that flex upside. We saw Trey Sermon. I mean, we saw a little bit of Tyler Goodson last week, especially when it was in the second half. But personally for me, I still want to go with Roschon Johnson over both. Not Asian Tufu. But you are in a down bad situation. Elna says, well, I guess that's my fault. Sounds like I should be making more beats. It's hard work to do, though. Oh, dude. No, I've only ripped off a few. I need to rip off a few more and put them into this little file, and then we'll be rocking and rolling, Element. So I always appreciate you. Thanks for letting us use these beats on the channel. Frizzle said, I appreciate it. Yeah, of course. Of course, Casey. Thanks for being here. Frizzle said, if Mixon plays, that moves Bigsby back to my bench. Should I put Bigsby over? No. Nope. Keeping Olave. We're rolling out Olave this week. Feeling confident. Roll out Olave, Frizzle. Element says, Casey, are you related to Tracy Bird? That's a good question. Good question. Kika, listen. Kika, I want to just say this. Every time I pull up your name, like, I get the little Drake, like, the Kiki, do you love me in my head right now. Why would you want Kelsey over Laporta? I feel like that's pretty... Like, Laporta was hyped in the preseason, but we just saw 12 and 11 fantasy points in back-to-back weeks for Travis Kelsey. And Sam Laporta has not eclipsed over 10. So, he's looking better. But I still personally want Travis Kelsey over, especially with no Rashee Rice. Like, the target share is going to be, so much better for Travis Kelsey over Sam Laporta. So, Kika, go with Travis Kelsey. Matt Wingo said, your old videos were fine, bro. You hit the... Matt Wingo, you're too nice. You're too nice. Listen, we're working. We're trying to improve, trying to get better each and every day. Appreciate you though, Matt. Nope, Element question mark. Okay, not it. Got it. It's Olave time. Frizzle, yep. Roll it out. And you know what, Frizz, I swear, if you come back in Sunday, I already know what time are the Saints playing. I gotta find this, because if the Saints play and I instantly get a Frizz message saying what the heck at 1 o'clock, if it's 1:45, you know what, 3 o'clock, Frizz. If I'm wrong, you let me know. I want to hear it in a comment. I want you to come back and let me know. I love you, Frizz. Thanks so much for being here. Just had to make sure. Not Asian Tufu said, sorry, I didn't really get the second part. Start 1. Xavier Hutchinson, Polk, Gabe Davis, Kid Otten. The other question was from my... no. Okay. Yeah. If you had to start 1 between all these guys, I will roll out Jalen Polk. We will hope that Drake May absolutely ignites Polk. I don't feel good about Gabe Davis. I like Kid Otten, but I think Polk is getting the most of that opportunity there. And if you actually look at Xavier Hutchinson, he actually outsnapped Tank Dell last week, but he had no targets. He had targets, but he had like none compared to what Tank Dell did. So give me some Jalen Polk. Let me take a quick drink of water, and we'll get back to this. We got David said, need 1 flex, McLeod, McConkey or Odunze. Another league need 2 flex. Trey Tucker, Lazard, or Kincaid need 2. Yeah, if I need a flex, I will be going with McConkey in the first one. And then in the other league, I will be going with Trey Tucker and Kincaid. But Lazard's been getting targeted by his boy Aaron Rodgers. So it's hard for me not to tell you with Alan Lazard, but I feel more confident in Kincaid and Trey Tucker this week, David. But that is a crapshoot. That is debatable on how good all of those players are. We got J Dizzy's BBQ. Man, I don't know. Do you got some brisket? You're making me hungry over here. I had some good barbecue actually earlier. I had some smoked burnt ends and I had some brisket. So it was really good. You said pick 2, half PPR. Sermon, Wilson, Algier, Shaheed. I'll be going with Shaheed and Sermon. I understand Wilson's an interesting one. It's pretty close, but I want Shaheed and Sermon in this lineup. J Dizzle's BBQ. Not Asian Tufu said could also go Pop Douglas. Didn't realize he was available. I would still go Polk. Just based on snap shares. But Pop Douglas is an interesting one. It's between Pop Douglas or Polk, but I go with Polk. Dub Nation said Bigsby or Moss PPR. I will be going with Zach Moss there, Dub. Assuming that he plays. I know he got cleared today, but I'll be going with some Zach Moss. Well, shout out to the person that just subscribed, because I was about to say, you know what, we're ending the stream here soon. I've been now streaming for an hour and 46 minutes, which is great. Shout out to all you guys for being here, helping out and growing the channel. But since we just had someone subscribe, I want to answer your question, because I don't leave here leaving you empty-handed. But we will be putting out a video while I wait for more questions to come firing through. We will be putting out a video tomorrow. We'll also be going live tomorrow. So if you guys are wanting more content, it's coming right around the corner. Make sure if you guys don't have post notifications turned on, you guys will know when I drop everything. BH, you said PPR Wandell, Bucky, or Eckler. I will be going with Wandell, but honestly, I love me some Bucky. I really do love me some Bucky. So, but I personally have Wandell a little bit higher here. Jay Dizzy said Bucky to the moon. Of course, up to the moon. And Oracle Zap sends in $2 and he says, yo, wait for me. He's about to unload. And he said, I got to send money this dude's way or else he's jumping off stream before I can get my question answered. And no can do comprende. We are staying here. I'm answering every stinking question you got. So fire those bad boys away if you got them. Oracle Zap, thanks so much for the 2. The $1.99, which is crazy because if we're talking about inflation, you know, you used to be able to get a large drink at McDonald's for $1 and it's now $1.29. So my wife loves a large root beer. Like that's her like sweet treat. So Oracle, you're going to make my wife a happy woman when I get her a large root beer. And I say this was from my guy, Oracle. But let me know what questions. And we had two more people subscribe. So like I said, guys, if you guys want to put those start state questions into the chat, I know it makes you wait a minute, but then I will answer all of those questions here in a quick second. Shout out to the roll. Dude left, he came back. We're still live. We're still live. We never stopped. Oh my, what? Anthony? Wait. Dude, Anthony, I swear. I don't think your super chat appeared, bro. You missed my super chat? Are you the Oracle? Anthony, who did you send? What did you send? I'm not seeing it. I'm literally typing in. Anthony, I swear, I'm not trying to like trip on you. Goodness. I'm double checking the stream. Because I swear I didn't miss it. Okay, we gotta mute ourselves. It's so weird like looking at yourself on yeah. Anthony, I'm not seeing it come through, bro. So I don't know. But I'll answer your question, bro. Like I said, whatever it is, Anthony, I'll fire that away. Or did you... Are you from a different channel, I think? Are you Debo? I don't know. But thanks, Anthony. If you meant the world. We'll get back to some questions. Andrew says, "Yo, Caleb, back with another question. Do I start Singletary or Gibson if Cook is out? Thanks again, bro, for the millionth time." Of course, Andrew. Always here to support ya in all of what you're doing. Personally, for me, I'm gonna start Singletary over Gibson if Cook's gonna be out, but it's close. I will say that, but I would go Singletary. But there's a chance Singletary doesn't play this week too. I saw that. So you might get stuck just rolling out Gibson. Sobriety is rad 33. Shout out to that. You said traded Deontay Johnson for Tyreek and the league manager freaked out and vetoed it. No, that's so dumb. Sobriety, I'll be completely honest. I'll give you my rest of season rankings here just so you know. He probably doesn't realize, like, Deontay Johnson for me, rest of season is my wide receiver 21, and then Tyreek Hill is my wide receiver 15. So, yes, I still have Tyreek Hill ahead, but based on how Deontay Johnson's been playing the last few weeks, I know last week wasn't great, but I think someone could easily talk themselves into Deontay Johnson, especially with no Tua Tagovailoa sobriety. So I hate league managers that do that. Like, unless someone's trading, Brees Hall for Tyler Algier, like, that's a beatable trade. But, like, that trade in of itself, like, I don't think is beatable. So, sobriety, I would just talk to your league manager or league chat and be like, what the heck? Like, that shouldn't be able to go through. The role, say, Caleb, you're too young to be married. No, yeah. I'm 27. The role. So, I know I got a baby face. I know it looks like I'm 22, but I am 27. So, Nick, should I trade Zay, Worthy, and Wicks for Tyreek Hill? Higgins, Devontae Mooney are my other wide receivers. Personally, no, I'm holding the package there. I understand why you would be interested in doing it, but like for me, I do have Zay. I actually have Zay, where we're looking at my rest of season rankings here. Just to give you an example, like I have Zay as my wide receiver 25. I have Worthy as my wide receiver 37. And then I have Wicks as my wide receiver 46. So for wide receiver, I get it why you'd want to do it. It just feels like a lot. Nick, I'm talking myself into it. Do it. Because that's the type, if you get Tyreek Hill back, that's going to win you a league. And Zay's probably not going to do that for your team. But I will say this, Nick. This is one trade that could potentially lose you a league if Tyreek Hill does not have Tua Tagovailoa back the rest of the season. So just want you to be aware of what you are about to walk yourself into. It's either game over for your league mates or it's game over for you. And there's really no in between. But Nick, I would do it. We live on the edge here. Not Asian Tufu said, appreciate the help. Team started 4-0, looking like I'm going to lose back-to-back weeks now. Just trying to give myself the best shot at winning this week. Yeah, sometimes it happens. I think we talked, like, there's teams that show their team and they're 1-4, and you're like, how are they 1-4? It's fantasy football. You got to make sure, tell your team to play some defense, not Asian Tufu. Sometimes you just got to tell them to start playing defense and they start holding your team to a little less points. I'm just kidding, not Asian Tufu, but wishing you the best, bro. Here we are. We got the super chat here. We're waiting for you, Oracle. You said $4.99. Appreciate the 5, bro. Appreciate the 5. You said 5.5 PPR. Purdy, Debo, Sermon, Najee, Bowers, McPherson, Chicago defense. Who do you use? Wide receiver 2. We have Cooper, Pickens, Flex, ETM, Bigsby, B-Rob, Gibson, Kincaid, Ira, Brooks, and Stevenson. Yeah. So if we're looking at your team right now, yeah. So what you already played, Purdy and Debo. Yeah. I like the Sermon and Najee call. In your wide receiver 2 spot, I would personally go with Amari Cooper over Pickens this week. I know it doesn't feel great, Oracle, at all, but that's kind of how I'm looking at that. And then in regards to looking at your flex spot, it's going to be between ETN and B-Rob. Now, B-Rob is hurt, so we do have to put that into perspective. But I think at this current moment, I'm still going to roll out Travis Etienne. It just felt like he was banged up, and he got removed from the injury report. So I know a lot of people are worried about Tank Bigsby, but I'm personally going to roll out Etienne again this week. So, like I said, go with Cooper, Go with ETN. I like the rest of your team, Oracle. Wishing you all the best, dude. Thanks for the 5. If you want me to dive deeper into this, dude, let me know. I'm more than happy if that would help. But thanks so much, dude. Appreciate the super and for supporting the channel there, Oracle. Means the world. And then we go to next question, which is Anthony said, I asked if you would stream Kirko Chains over Allen this week. Oh, Anthony. Dude, I swear, I'm literally I don't think that came through. So apologies, dude. Thanks for being willing to support the channel. Personally, for me, I'm still playing Josh Allen over Kirko Chains. Now, Cole's Kirk, I do have pretty high on my rankings this week. I do have him as a top 12 QB play. I have Josh Allen down as my QB8. So it's a little bit lower than you might expect, Anthony, but I would still go with Josh Allen over Kirk Chains. Appreciate you, Anthony. Thanks for tuning in. Kika said, I think I'm going to have to trade those tight ends for wide receivers because that's my biggest weakness right now. I've got Montgomery, Walker, and Bijan as RBs, and Harrison McLaurin as my starters. Should he do that? Yeah, 100%. If those players that I listed for you, I'm forgetting off the top of my head, Kika, do that to get a better tight end for sure. Andrew said, okay, if Singletary doesn't play, do I play Tyrone, Taylor, or Gibson? Thanks, bro. I play Tyrone if Singletary doesn't play, for sure. Not Asia Tufu said, am I crazy for sending Bijan and Keenan for Hill and Cooper? Hearing you've got Hill at wide receiver makes me think, yes, go decline that. I want to keep the Bijan side. I know Bijan hasn't been performing up to par either, but at least he's playing. And at least the offense is efficient. Where Tyreek Hill could be a game changer. He really could. But I think there's a lot of risk there in that not Asian Tufu. So I would personally go decline that. Slime Material 06. Shout out to Kobe. Shout out to Mamba. May he rest in peace. Start Gibson or Bigsby or play Bigsby as RB2 and Gibson as flex over Hopkins. Yes, I would personally flex both of these guys over Hopkins. So I would start Gibson and Bigsby. Slime Material 06 based on my rankings, dude. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to Mamba, Kobe. Should be talked more in the GOAT conversation, but he's not. So appreciate you tuning in. Sobriety says, thanks, brother. He was trying to get other managers to veto, and they said no. Yeah. I love when there's a league manager that likes to control a league and tries, because it's interesting. It's interesting for sure. But yeah, no, I think that's not veatable. The Roll says, someone traded Chase for Kamara in Dynasty last year. That's a trade I just had to veto as commish. Is that wrong, or is that the right move? I mean, I think the issue is the Roll in Dynasty. If you let a team just deplete themselves of all their assets, then there are trades that are veatable. I think the conversation would have to have is like, why are they making this moves, and is it a lack of clarity on Dynasty? And if that's the case, then sometimes you do just have to let them learn. But the issue is if it's a free league, the Roll, especially if it's a free league. The free league, this is my argument. If you're doing a paid league, you should not have any trades that are veatable. But if you are in a free league, yes, there should be. So just kind of depends. David said, you look 18, bro. Do you think the Packers will start feeding up? David, appreciate you, bro. Honestly, guys, you guys should see when I was 16. Imagine me now. Imagine me at 16. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't think they will. That's my personal opinion on Romeo. Now, this week I do have him as my wide receiver 44. Last week he did have 8 targets, but I just don't think it's gonna be Romeo. Sorry guys, I'm about to sneeze. That's really what's happening. But no, I don't think they're gonna start feeding him, David. Another Roll. I think that's a decent trade, honestly. Yeah. Okay. Gerger, listen, bro. Listen, I called you out earlier. We were talking through my inability to pronounce names, and I said that I called you Jar Jar for the longest time. So it's so good to see you here in stream. You said, do you trust Chicago's defense with their secondary injured? Should I be looking at Green Bay maybe this week? Great questions, bro. If I was you, I'd still go with the Chicago Bears over Green Bay. I have them about 5 spots ahead. The Roll said Swift or ETN rest of season. think we gotta go. I think we gotta go Swift. I think we gotta go Swift rest of the season, man. Is that crazy? Unless we start to see ETN really start to turn it around here over the next 2 weeks. Eileen Swift. Tony, shout out to you for being here. You said, hey Caleb, who would you start between Olave and Brian Thomas Jr.? I will be starting Brian Thomas Jr. there. And it's not like anything crazy on why I would do it. Both of them are so close. I just think Brian Thomas, you got Trevor Lawrence throwing the ball. Spencer Rattler could be a legit dude, or it could just be, we'll see. We'll have to see with Spencer Rattler. But I would start Brian Thomas Jr. for you, Tony. Greg, you said, I traded Mason and Mooney for Tyreek and Ramondre. Thoughts? Huge. Especially CMC is going to be taking over for Mason here soon. So I think you got Ramondre and Mooney are pretty close. Tyreek way ahead of Mason, Greg. So that's a major dub for you, my guy. Huge dubs in the chat. Oracle said, I also have Addison, but yeah, brother, I got you. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about Addison this week, but I do think you got a really great team. I would still do Cooper over Addison, just so you know. Matt Wingo said, half PPR flex Tolbert or Braylon Allen. I'll be going with Tolbert. Higher upside there, Matt Wingo. But I'm glad you have Braylon Allen. Continue to keep him stashed. Sobriety is rad. Said Harris or Tolbert for my flex. Thanks, bro. I'm starting Najee Harris at your flex, Sobriety. Shelton Mayfield, appreciate you tuning in. You said, would Xavier Hutchinson be worth a pickup to play him in place of Nico Collins? Personally, Shelton, depends on who else is out there on the waiver wire. But if you actually look at his snap share, he out-snapped Tank Dell last week, which is exciting, but he wasn't really targeted. He was more used as a blocking level wide receiver. And so it depends on who's out there. Personally, I don't feel comfortable starting Xavier Hutchinson, but depends on who you're comparing him against. So let me know and I can kind of give you some better insight. The role said, I'm also thinking Swift. You're not crazy. Good. I'll change. Gerger said I'll change it. No, you leave your name. That's your name. Don't want to have you change it, but I appreciate all the love. Greg said, my other wide receivers are Garrett Wilson, Brandon Ayuk, Deontay Johnson, Xavier Legette, Ridley, running backs for Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbins, and Ty Chandler. And you said you traded Mason. Yeah, huge dub in the chat there for you, Greg. That's a massive change. That's a massive trade that'll help you win the rest of your fantasy football season. So absolutely incredible there, Greg. Now, I'll be honest, I've been trying to end stream for like 15 minutes, and y'all just keep firing away those chats. Someone else just subscribed to the stream. So I'm a man of the people. I will wait to answer this next start sit question. And if you guys have any more questions, I will be answering them. But we are putting on the 5-minute bell. The 5-minute bell is ringing because your boy's got to get to bed. I'm getting a little tired here. It's been a long week. The role said Dobbins over Rashad. Yes, 100%. 100%. There with you. Goodness. My op this week got Kyler Murray, Amon-Ra, DJ Moore, BTJ, Kyle Pitts. Am I cooked? I mean, there's always a chance. There's always a chance. But no, I think you do have a good shot. No. Jar Jar, dude. Someone just subscribed, so like I said, this is a great way of me answering all your guys' questions and getting people into the community, getting me to answer their questions. Like Sobriety, I think is this your first time? Yeah. See, like it's Sobriety's first time finding the channel, getting to interact. So like this is one of the ways where I do genuinely I want to be growing a following by answering all your guys' questions, because I know that not a lot of other creators do that. And so this is kind of my goal, and this is why I stream. Is to answer everyone's. I love the family atmosphere that we have from those that come to all the streams, and then I love meeting the new people. So, no, it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, but you might potentially be cooked. Sobriety said, just found a channel. You the man, dude. I'll be back here tomorrow. And check out my videos if you haven't. Sobriety, they'll help you this week for sure. Big Body God said Mooney over Mike Evans this week. PPR. Big Body. Listen, I can't do it. I understand why you're thinking it. It's a matchup based with our nemesis Lattimore for Mike Evans. We saw what Patrick Surtain did to Mike Evans, absolutely locking him up. But personally for me, I'm still going with Mike Evans over Darnell Mooney. But if Darnell Mooney shows that he's the second coming of Antonio Brown in this week, and it's back-to-back weeks, we're going to have a serious discussion about where we have Darnell Mooney week in and week out. Appreciate you, Sobriety. Jar said, hey, bro, we appreciate the hard work you do for us. Hey, I'm trying. You said, I won my last week thanks to you. That's what we like to hear. Jar, we're turning your team around. I want you to remember last week you were starting to really freak out. Like it was, I was a little bit nervous that you might not come back. Like you were just going to give up on the season, but we're not giving up. There's still a lot of season left. So let's go. The Roll said, I also look, I'm a senior in high school. Goodness. Look at you, The Roll. Hey, keep grinding, bro. It only gets better from here. Sobriety said, until you blow up, then you'll be overwhelmed with. So that will be whenever that happens, Sobriety, which I don't know. We'll see. We'll create ways for, I always want to be interacting with my community. So we'll find ways. It just might be harder if we have a lot of people throwing start-sit questions in and trying to get to all of them. But my goal is to do this as long as I can and continue to do it. Because honestly, the streaming part is like my favorite part. Because I don't have to be scripted. I don't have to do any video editing. I literally just turn on my camera. Y'all provide questions and we just talk about it. Like, this is awesome. It's like campfire vibes. KZ said, if Bucky goes off, you think he'll be our RB from now? Do you think he'll be RB1 from now? I think if he does, I think we could be looking at Rachaad White absolutely losing his job. So, yes, I'm right there with you. It depends on how we say go off. I do think Rachaad White will always have a role on this team, but yeah, I do think there's a chance that if he goes off, it's going to be the Bucky show from now on. But last week, I thought he was really doing well against the Falcons, so he lost that funnable. So a lot can kind of always happen to change. I'm tied for first. I won last year. Paid PPR league. Sobriety, go get that money. We're going back to back, as Drake said. We're going back to back. We absolutely love it. Jared said, I was panicking so hard last week. If I win this week, I'm back. So here's to hoping. Listen, man, I'm telling you, it just takes a little bit of luck, takes a little bit of decision, strategy. I would say fantasy football, like honestly, if we're being real about it, it's probably like 35 to 40% strategy. Did you draft a good team? Do you do good in-week management? But at the end of the day, like you can't control who's getting hurt. You can't control the coaching. Like you would have never expected AJ Brown to be out, 4 weeks on the first 6 weeks of the season. So yeah, I think it's luck, but there is a little bit of strategy, and that's the part that I'm trying to help out with. Squid said, start Kincaid or K-Dot in PPR. Jets seems scary. It does seem scary. I still have Squid, and hear me out. I still have Kincaid higher, and Kincaid has done nothing for me to say that he should be higher. But I do have Dalton Kincaid as my tight end 7 this week. I do have Cade Otton as my tight end 16. So I did talk about Cade Otton as a player that could potentially, was a decent start this week. I had a lot of people telling me that's crap. Well, if you don't have one of the top 5 guys, like it's debatable. But personally for me, I still go with Dalton Kincaid there, Squid. A. Walker said, if Devon were to get injured, would you rather have Wright or Mostert? I think I just rely on what I've seen. I think it's going to be Mostert just based on snap share. But I do think if Devon were to get injured, Jalen Wright will have a role because they don't just roll out one running back as, besides what we've seen from Devon, they like to do kind of that double bell cow system. Big Body Guy said, thanks, man. I might try to put Mooney in over Wandell. I still have Wandell over Mooney. Actually, I said that, and now I'm debating it. Let me go check the rankings. Yes, I have Wandell over Mooney, but they are back-to-back big body. So whoever you want to go with, I would do that. Dude, thanks so much for the kind words. Want you here all season long. Shelton said, Darius Slayton, Josh Downs, Ray McLeod, Romeo Dubs, Trey Tucker, Daily are all out there on waivers. And Shelton, your question was, you said, would Xavier Hushman be a worthy pickup play in place of Nico Collins? Honestly, there's a lot of guys out here that I prefer. I'd prefer Josh Downs. I'd prefer Darius Slayton. I'd even then Xavier Legette. That's kind of how I have them ranked this week, Shelton. Jojo says your streams are my favorite as well. I hope you keep them going. Of course. I don't think even if we get big, like just to be clear, I don't even know what you guys define as big, but we are last year when like this time last year I was at 1,500 subscribers and we're now at like 3,500. So we've almost doubled, which is huge. But yeah, this is my favorite part. So I'm never going to stop. Just so everyone's aware. The only thing that would make me stop is if I'm dead. Everyone called me, and which is not a good thing. Everyone called me crazy when I said Bucky had a real shot to take carries. Now look at Bucky. Shout out to Bucky. Squid asked Jar Jar what his record was. Jar Jar said his record is 2-3, but if they win, I'm tied for third at 3. That's what we love to see, Jar Jar. Jar Jar, my man. Colby, appreciate you tuning in. You said Darius Slayton, Ridley, Wicks, pick 2, full PPR. Colby, I don't feel confident in this, but I'm gonna tell you to go with Ridley and Slayton because I do. They're all so close together, Colby. In my own personal opinion. No, I'm gonna talk myself into Wicks here. Do I go with my rankings or do I go with my gut? I'm going with my gut. Go with Wicks, and then go with Ridley. I don't trust Slayton. But I understand some people do have to throw Slayton out there. I go with Ridley and Wicks, Colby. Hope that helps you. Sobriety said, didn't expect CMC to be out, drafted him and didn't know his injury was that. Sobriety, you're talking to the choir. In our subscriber league, which shout out to all you guys. If you guys want to get in a subscriber league next year, just make sure you guys come before the first 2 weeks of I put out a post. We actually struggled to get people to commit to it this year, but some of you guys are in it. And we randomized the draft order, and I got the first pick, and I drafted CMC, and my team right now is 2-3 in the subscriber league, and I'm just waiting for CMC to come back with vengeance. I don't know if PB&J's here, but PB&J's, I'm actually playing Average Joe's Fantasy this week, so we'll see how that goes. Brooke, appreciate you being here. You said hello, Olave or Tolbert this week. Very valid question there, Brooke. Like I said, guys, if you guys are new to the channel, we are answering every start sit question this season. So once you guys here in the community, we put out videos, do streams, want to help you guys win, not only this week, but a fantasy football championship. But Brooke, I honestly have Olave about 15 spots higher than Tolbert this week. It's a little bit of a risky play. I talked about my love for Olave in my video today. I still think the game script is going to be them having to throw it enough. Now, the question is, how good is Spencer Rattler going to be? That's really the question that it comes down to. Tolbert's looked good when he's been out there, but personally for me, I still want to roll out Chris Olave this week, Brooke. So that's the way that I lean. But thanks so much for tuning in. I would go with Brooke. Not Brooke. I would go with Chris Olave. But thanks, Brooke. Appreciate you tuning in. Squid said, nice. I'm 1-4. I'm praying I win this week, but Ayuk already dropped 5 for me, so it's not looking good. Squid, there's still time. I think that's the thing. Like, we are only like 5 games. We're now, these next 5 games, it is a big stretch. So we got to really lock it in. But there is still time to come back, Squid. So don't give up. Jarvis said, I don't know how Caleb feels, but I'm personally at the point I tried to trade Ayuk and waiver hunt and drop him too spotty. And with Jennings, I don't try. Yeah, I think Jennings, I'm not necessarily worried about Jennings. I mean, Brandon Ayuk had a good game, last week? This week it was not good for Brandon Ayuk. But I personally would say that you could potentially look to trade him. It depends. If you tier up off of him, what I would recommend is you add another player to him, Squid, and then you could potentially get a better player that way. KZ88 said, I drafted Keenan Allen. Any chance he does better this week? I mean, I have him top 40 wide receiver, but I'm not feeling super, super amazing by any stretch of the imagination. Soren said, start 3. ETN, Bigsby, Brown, Moss, Cooper, JMO, Olave. I will be going with, I assume it's Chase Brown. I'll be going with Chase Brown, Olave, and Jameson Williams. And that feels weird saying I'm not starting Travis Etienne. But that's how I feel, Soren. And that's what my rankings say. Appreciate you tuning in. Shout out to your I love that your profile picture matches your name. It's awesome. Tony, would you take Bucky Irving over J.K. Dobbins? I don't think I am. I'm still playing J.K. Dobbins over Bucky Irving. I have Bucky Irving about 4 spots lower there, Tony. A. Walker said, how much longer do you think Chuba Hubbard will be valuable for fantasy? That's a great question, A. Walker, because you're coming to a guy that loves himself some Jonathan Brooks. So the chance that I think Jonathan Brooks will really start getting it going by week 9 to week 10, we are in week 6. So I think we got about 3 more weeks of Chuba Hubbard before a Brooks takeover. Sprite said, I got Henry with my second pick. So what, you got CMC and Derrick Henry? Well, if CMC comes back, that's going to be a pretty nasty squad going forward. Jar Jar says, I'm done with yeah, I feel that, Squid. Scrippy said, I know you've been high on Brown this week, but he's listed as questionable while Zach Moss is cleared and good to go. Are you changing your stance on Chase Brown this week? Scrippy, I honestly, I commented this on someone made that comment too on my video. I saw on Twitter that one of the Bengals reporters said that Chase Brown is good to go. I know he's questionable, but he reported that he was going to be good to go. I'm just double checking Twitter really quick. Yeah. Yeah, so what? Bengals running backs both went through stretches. Bengals are good to go for Sunday's game against the Giants, Zach Taylor said. Brown's quad injury was very minor. Taylor not even sure what occurred yesterday. So, yeah, I think he's fine. I still like Chase Brown. Great Scott, appreciate you tuning in. He said, what's happening? Smash that like button, gang. It's well deserved. Appreciate you, Great Scott. Thanks for hyping me up. Jar Jar said, good idea, Squid. Also, don't underestimate the waiver wire. That's how I won last week. Yep, for sure. Brooke, appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, Brooke, here to help you all season long, however I can. We got Scrippy says, you know what's crazy? Actually, I want to hit on this. We have been streaming now for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and y'all have submitted 410 questions. That's insane. So shout out to all y'all. Okay, Scrappy, you said Chase Brown questionable, Zach Moss good to go. How's your chances? No, Scrappy, I'm still, I believe Chase Brown's going to play, so I'm still full in on Chase Brown. Colby said, I agree. Drafted Nico and Rice. Oh, goodness. Sorry, Colby. Got Lamb, BTJ. I had a ton of Nico and Rice, so I'm right there with you. You got Lamb, BTJ, traded for Brees and Puka. Slim on wide receiver now, but I'm 5-0. And you're 5-0, and you got Puka coming back in 2 weeks. So, Colby, hang it out. Even if you lose a few games over these next few weeks, it doesn't matter because your team's going to be unstoppable when Puka gets back. Casey said, how is Isaac Guerrero looking on the waiver wire? He's looking good, especially after what we saw him get the run yesterday. You know, if you guys had made some stashes, I'm just kidding. It was hard to stash Isaac Guerrero when he really wasn't getting run, and we've talked about all these injuries and how you've had to kind of put a lot of bench players on your, or injured players on your bench, especially if you don't have IR spots. I think the issue is CMC is going to come back in the next 2 weeks. So Isaac Guerrero, depending on how bad Jordan Mason's injury is, which I need to double check. I don't know if he'll be out next week. It might only be a 1 week thing for Isaac Guerrero. Casey, honestly. Great Scott said, full PPR rollout, Tavion Wicks, Josh Downs, Slayton, Trey Sermon, Bucky Irvin, Tank Bigsby. Should I stash Juju Smith-Schuster or Raheem Mostert? I would stash Juju. And then do I only have to pick one, Great Scott? Or how many do I have to pick out? Because if I only had to pick one, I would go with Bucky Irving. I'd go Bucky Irving, Trey Sermon. But let me know, Great Scott, how many I have to pick out of that team. The role said, do we feel okay with Leggett this week? I mean, I feel like, for sure, I have him as a top 45 wide receiver. So not great, but it's okay. Colby said, did not trade Lamb and BTJ for Brees and Puka, to be clear. I traded Connor. Wait, you traded Connor and Deontay Johnson for Brees and... Oh, goodness. Colby, you're getting away with freaking thievery. That's huge. That's a huge dub for you, Colby. Huge trade. Sorry I misunderstood that. The role said, I need this win. Yes, speak it into existence. Sometimes you just got to go into some random guy named Caleb's YouTube stream and just speak your win into existence. And sometimes the fantasy football gods will look down upon you and grant you a victory. Great Scott said, trade McLaurin and Chuba for Brees Hall. Yep, give me Brees Hall. Great Scott. 100%. Give me that Brees Hall side. Screppy said Chase Brown or Bucky Irving this week. Screppy, I will be going with Chase Brown. Sobriety said Colby, when I drafted Nico Rice and CMC, I'm 3-2 tied for first. And Sobriety's going to pull it back. Dan DBC said, what's your thoughts on Bucky without no White? Dan, I know you just joined the stream. I don't think there could be someone that's as excited about Bucky and has pushed him up his rankings. I have Bucky as a top 20 running back this week. I have him ahead of guys like a Brian Robinson, a Javonte Williams, or Rico Dowdle. So I do like some Bucky Irving this week. Jar Jar said, brother, it's late, go to bed. Listen, no, you guys keep firing away. This is what happened, Jar Jar. I said I was going to do it, and then y'all absolutely exploded. We've, 14 new people joined the channel since then, and it just, we got a second wind. We got a little bit of a second wind there, Jar Jar. But we'll be back tomorrow. Don't worry. Sobriety said, for real, I'm a Bengals fan. Browns playing. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I literally see it on Twitter. Sobriety, you're a Bengals fan? Dude, I grew up in, Sobriety, just so you know, I grew up in Dayton, Ohio. I live in Indiana. So I am a Bengals fan. I'm also an Ohio State fan. So tomorrow night, it's a big game. Sobriety, are you a Bengals fan? Let me know. Great Scott said, pick one running back and two flex, please. We're going to be doing Chuba Hubbard, Terry McLaurin, Alvin Kamara, Jahmyr Gibbs, T. Higgins, Chris Olave at tight end, likely Andrews or Njoku. So let me answer the tight end one first, and then we'll go through the rest. Great Scott. So personally for me, I'll be going with Isaiah Likely at the tight end spot. And then if I need to pick one running back, I will be going with Alvin. Oh, you got some good running backs. I'll be going with Alvin Kamara. And then two flex, I will be going with Jahmyr Gibbs. And then I'll be going with Chuba Hubbard. Great Scott. That's a team. That's a team of options you really need help with. That was a lot. Georgia said, shout out to you, Francis. Yeah, shout out. Appreciate you. Big Dog said, do you think of any of the backup running backs currently rocking have any trade value? Tracy, Gibson, probably not, honestly. They're going to be more valuable to you. The only reason if they get any type of trade value is if, of course, they become the starter for a long period of time, kind of like what Mason did. So they're probably going to be more valuable to you just sitting on your bench waiting for them to be startable than if you are to wait. So that's kind of how I'm looking at a Big Dog. But if you can, of course, package two of them together to get a better running back, like 100% be looking at those. Not gassing you of the best. Goodness, KZ. Appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. We try. We look up to the greats, and we're on the grind to become one of the greats. So appreciate you. Appreciate all the love. Thanks, Jar Jar. Squid said, what are your thoughts on MHJ this week? I'm hoping Jair Alexander isn't playing. I hope Kyler just looks his way. Could we just get some targets? Goodness gracious. Last week only got 7 targets, 6 targets the week before that. Like, come on, MHJ, get it together. I like him. I have him as a top 15 play, have him as my wide receiver 13. So nothing crazy high, Squid, but nothing crazy low. So you're playing him. The role said, I'm not sure if I asked you this, I did, but I traded Marv, K9, and Levis for Caleb Dobbins and Pollard in Dynasty 2 quarterback. Thoughts? Yeah. I mean, the fact that you got Caleb, I think the fact it's hard because K9 is probably very similarly valued. And then it's like Marv and Levis for Caleb. I still want Caleb there. So I think it's a very fair trade, the role. I hate seeing you give up Marv because I'm a little bit worried, but yeah, no, I would say I lean your side. And he said, bro, your comments aren't slowing down. No, we're in the fast lane over here. We're in the fast lane. Dan, appreciate you. Said, cool, thanks. Bucky will be in my flex. Roll out some Bucky Irving. Jarvis said, okay, homie, if you still answer a question, Bucky Irving over Josh Jacobs, that's going to be too dynamic, bro. I have Josh Jacobs as a top 9 running back this week. I have Bucky Irving as a top 19 running back this week, but that's gonna be a little bit too high. I'd still go with Josh Jacobs. They're also traded Jordan Mason to the CMC owner for Bucky Irving and Dynasty. Thoughts? Yeah, give me Bucky Irving. One's gonna have value past this season. Jordan Mason's gonna be an elite level handcuff going forward. KZ said, I have Josh Jacobs. He's been trash all year. He has been trash, but his schedule coming up down the line is exciting. Plus, this offense is continuing to kind of upgrade with Jordan Love coming back off this injury. So I still like Josh Jacobs. And Charger said his floor is better than most, but his ceiling, yeah, that's kind of where it's at with Josh Jacobs. Charger, good ability putting words in my overall mouth. And then we were at the next question, which was going to be B Silva. Shout out to B Silva for being here. You said trade ideas, 2 and 3 owner, no IR spots, 12 team league starters. McConkey. Yeah. I think honestly, when we're looking, you got a great quarterback. We're looking, you're rolling out some interesting running backs this week, but we're waiting on JT. So you got a hero RB build, and then your wide receivers. What? We're just waiting on Puka. B Silva. I think the idea here is can we keep your main team intact? Can we keep Jane Daniels, Puka, Metcalf, Flowers? And I would even say Chase Brown and JT are off limits. Can we do a little bit of like 2-for-1ers? Like, could we do like a Braylon Allen and a Juju Smith-Schuster to get you a better running back? When I say a better running back, it's hard for me to give like real life examples all the time, but like, could you give up those two guys to get up into a guy like a Kareem Hunt or a Zach Moss or even a Jonathan Brooks coming off IR? Like, I think that's a small move you would do. Otherwise, I'm just worried that we're going to deplete your depth by trying to do too many different trades, be selfish. So that would be my idea with your team. You let me know. But yeah, that's kind of my trade thought idea for your team. Sobriety said, have a good one, brother. I'll stop by again. I appreciate it, Sobriety. Like I said, Sobriety, just so you know, we go live. We stream Wednesdays. And as long as I'm here for the weekend and I'm not traveling, we do stream on Fridays and Saturday nights. But tomorrow night is the Buckeye game, so we're probably going to stream some point in time during the day. Colby said, is Pacheco worth the hold for redraft? I know it took Pollard, took a while with Sam Andre, if I'm not mistaken. I think if you're a contender, sure. But if you're like, I need a roster spot, it's going to be hard to hold on to Pacheco until week 12. Because by then you're either in or out of the playoffs. Great Scott said, rest of season full people rank these guys in terms of value, please. Bigsby, Juju, Mostert, Irving, Dontavian Wicks, Josh Downs, Tucker Kraft, Tajay Spears, Njigba, Tolbert. Yeah, rest of season. We'll go with Njigba, Irving, Downs, Bigsby, Juju, Mostert, Kraft, Spears, Tolbert, and Downs. Actually, I have Downs ahead of Tolbert and Spears. So bump them up 2 spots, Great Scott. But that was hard. That was hard to do all that in my brain. Appreciate you, Great Scott. Sorry if I didn't answer that to the best of my ability. Casey said, I drafted Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Zach Moss, and Bengals defense this year. I even picked up Chase Brown on the waiver. A lot of Bengals. I'm even a fan, or you're not even a fan? I'm a fan, bro. I'm a fan of the Bengals. And the defense has honestly been bad. It's been pretty bad. So we got to just keep it together. We got to keep it together. Josh Foster said, I have Rachaad White probably out. Should I drop him for another running back? My other running back is on Bayern, or I could give up Lad. I would just give up Lad. I know, Josh, like, we're worried that Bucky Irvin's going to take it, but Rachaad White, his snap share hasn't been terrible. So honestly, I'm going to hold on to Rachaad White and see what happens after this week. Jack said, any changes or start stitch I should do? Quarterback 1, Kyler, Josh Jacobs, Chase Brown, AJ, Garrett Wilson, McBride, BGJ. Yeah, you got it exactly how I would have it, Jack. I'm glad you're going to wait on Nico, but once you got Nico come back and JT, ooh, Jack, you got a crazy good team, bro. Good luck. Jar Jar said, I'm going to head out. Thanks for all your help, brother. I'll be back next week, hopefully 3-3. Hey, appreciate it, bro. Let me know if I can answer any questions for you. Oh, Bardicus, good to see you. Yeah, I'll for 100% hear it. The role said, dude, why is Baker actually good now? He's right behind T-Law on my dynasty quarterback rankings. Yeah, he just continues to go up and up and up. I still feel like he's going to hit a point of he's one of those like older quarterbacks that's producing value. He's got the contract extension, but like how high can he actually get? That's kind of the question that I have with Baker, but he has looked really good. And then Bardicus says 12 team Superflex 0.5 PPR part 5 tight end contending team send late 25 first and Rachaad White for Kenneth Walker. Ooh, Bardicus. I'm saying this as I've been like full redraft, but you know me, I play in so many dynasty leagues. I have not seen Kenneth Walker's like overall value, but he's now like RB. What Keep Track has him as RB7. Yeah, so Kenneth Walker's like equivalent to like I would say like a early to mid first. So if it's a late first, I'm just always hesitant, Bardicus, to send a first for a running back because you send that first and worst case scenario, Kenneth Walker gets hurt and then you're out of your first and you got Rachaad White. So depends on if you're like how much you're in it. Like if you're for sure a contender, I would do this, Bardicus. Like if your team's loaded, then I'm doing this. If not, I'm probably holding off and just holding on to the first. Because honestly, the 25 class is going to be better than what we're expecting. So, in my personal opinion. Appreciate you, Barticus. Sobriety said, "Oh, you're a Buckeye fan? Me too. Yeah. Shout out, go Bucks. OH. I heard it back, Sobriety. I heard it back. Hey, we're gonna be at Oregon tomorrow. Let's go. Yeah, that's right, Sobriety. I have the 2 jerseys. I know you probably like maybe this guy likes Stratton. Listen, no, I'm an absolute Buckeye fan. And then Great Scott said Limar, Gino, Amon-Ra, Debo, Deontay, Pittman, Najibka, Wicks, Downs, Bijan, Saquon. Oh, the fact that no, stop. There's no moves to be had. The only one is maybe upgrading the tight end position. But you do have Kraft and Kincaid. So honestly, if you just pair those 2 together and maybe go try to trade for McBride or Bowers, that's what I would do. Appreciate you, Great Scott. Case said, not even a fan, but the Bengals team is fire this year. I mean, for fantasy, we need to start turning it around on the actual team to get some wins, but that's besides the point. Great Scott said, other league quarterbacks, Hurts, Chase, Debo, dude, you are typing, Great Scott, a ton. So shout out to you. Kamara, Gibbs, Chuba, Kenneth Walker, Brooks, likely trades. Pick up Kareem or yes, pick up Kareem Hunt, dude. 100%. Go pick up Kareem Hunt. I'd prefer him over Singletary. And then I just say you continue to ride it out. I think you got your wide receivers are good, your running backs are loaded, and you got a really great quarterback. So I think this is another one where can I flip one of these end bench pieces that are pretty good? Like could you flip like a Chuba and Andrews to go get a better tight end? Like that's the only thing I would do, and then replace Chuba with Kareem Hunt, like that. KZ88 said Chase Brown or Keenan Allen at flex. KZ, I will be going with Chase Brown. Waba said Downs or Wick rest of season. You have to drop one. Let me pull up my rest of season rankings. In my heart of hearts, I want to say Josh Downs, but I'm trying to be unbiased here. I go with Josh Downs. See ya, Wicks. Appreciate you, Waba. Yep. Cool. Thanks, Great Scott. Colby said, I drafted Mahomes for the rice stack and found myself last game saying why he can't be as good as me. It's true. Patrick Mahomes has been very disappointing from a fantasy football perspective. Barticus says, White doesn't crack my lineup, and Walker would. Very hesitant with the first and 2, but I have Chubb as well in case of injury. But maybe best to wait until... Yeah, Barticus, this is what I would say. A late first is still going to hold value closer to the playoffs, especially if you're winning. I would just hold off because I don't want you to trade that first. We're in week 6 and be like, this is for my playoff run, and then all of a sudden do it. Like the first is still going to be very valuable. Let the landscape play out. And then we'll kind of wait from there. Sobriety said the Bengals are the greatest 1-4 team in history. Hey, T. Higgins looks like an absolute animal. That's all I want to say. It's a contract year for my boy, and he's out here crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. KZ said, I knew not to draft Mahomes ever again after doing it last year. Mahomes might be, it's weird. He's like the GOAT, but he's not the GOAT for fantasy football, which is crazy. Adam said, QBs are Daniels, Chase, Kupp, Amari, Garrett Wilson, Dobbins, Etienne, Hunt, Dowdle, Bigsby, Pitts, Ingram. Any recommendations on moves? 4-1, 12-team PPR. Adam, what type of dog is that? Is that a golden mini doodle? Because that's my freaking dog. Is that what it is? Or is that like a puppy? Adam, you got to let me know because I'm very much so more concerned about your profile picture than this team. But what I will say is congrats on being let me put the music back on. Goodness. Congrats on being 4-1. Huge dubs for you. When we're looking at this team, I think you're really good. You got Chase, Kupp, Garrett Wilson as your top 3. You got the number 1 QB, 3 really good wide receivers. Your running backs are leaving a little bit to be desired from, but Etienne and Dobbins will get the job done with Hunt, especially over the next few weeks. Pitts and Ingrams. Any recommendations? Honestly, man, I'm just worried that we're going to get rid of some depth if we don't actually continue this. Sometimes you want to tear up off of players, but for me with your team, I'm just going to continue to ride this out, Adam. I really like your team, bro. Thanks so much for tuning in. Shrek like onions says Bucky or McLaurin at flex. Shrek likes onions. I will be going with McLaurin in my flex for sure. KZ said last year was my first fantasy year, so I had no idea. KZ, you're learning a lot. You're learning a lot here on stream, being here in the community. But yeah, for sure, bro. I understand it. There's a lot of change. There's a lot of things happening, but you got a really great squad. And then Great Scott said, thanks so much. You're for sure one of the most helpful and entertaining fantasy football YouTubers on YouTube. You're going to play. Hey, appreciate it, Great Scott. Always here for you, bro. Let me know how I can help. Barcast with good looks. Thanks as always. Of course. Adam said it's Golden Doodle. Oh, I have my door closed, but I'll have to bring Adam. Next time you're here, I'll have to bring my mini golden doodle on stream. She's 25 pounds, looks exactly like your golden doodle. Is it a full size? Because mine, like I said, weighs 25 pounds. Barticus says, make sure to drop that like. Yeah, make sure to drop that like on the way out. So, Colby, thanks for the help. I'll be back around. Appreciate it, Colby. Like I said, guys, we're here to answer all Start State questions all the time. And someone else just subscribed. We're about to end the stream, but you know what? We're a man of the people. So if you guys, as always, I'm here to answer any Start State questions you have. So let me know. I've been streaming now for 2 hours and 35 minutes. So we're going to be ending this thing here pretty quick. But let me know what question. Shout out to the person that just subscribed. I am waiting around for you. I want you to know this. I am waiting around for you so I can answer your question, because that's what I want to do. Yeah, this music's a vibe in the background, for real. Really helps the stream environment. Jack said, should I start BTJ over Wandell? I would start BTJ over Wandell, Jack, for sure. You're still live, true. Listen, not Asian Tofu, dude. We've had people subscribing, and so I have told them that I'm a part of this community, and I am, like I said, we're here around a campfire. If you guys keep asking me questions, I'm going to keep sticking around. If y'all keep subscribing to me because you want your Start State question answered, I will answer your question, you know? I will be going... Well, do we even know if Njoku's playing for sure this week? You might not have to decide, but I would still go Conklin. Dude, Deshaun Watson, goodness gracious, terrible. Waba said start Bigsby or Downs this week. I will personally be going with Josh Downs. But I understand why you might be excited for Tank. But I would be going with Josh Downs, Waba. And I'm risking the Anthony Richardson thing as well. Have a good night and thanks as all. Of course. Sobriety said you might as well do a 24-hour stream. You know, I think this is the thing. I think I will do a 24-hour stream once we hit... If we ever hit 50,000 subscribers, I'll do a 24-hour stream. But that's 50K. So if you guys can help, we'll get there. The Real Slick Rick, dude, thanks for tuning in. He says, should I start Dowdle or Najee? I already have 2 Cowboys in my lineup. Yeah, that doesn't really matter to me, the Real Slick Nick. Honestly, I would still be going with Najee Harris. I have Najee Harris 4 spots ahead of Rico Dowdle in my lineup or in my rankings. So I understand. Both are pretty close, and Rico looked pretty good last week. But I personally lean the Najee Harris side going forward. And y'all, we put the 5-minute timer on, and y'all just start going crazy. YouTube pops me into the algorithm again. We get more people in the stream. I'm answering all Start State questions. So I am waiting around for, shout out to the other person that subscribed. We're going to get there. KZ said, do you think Fields will lose QB1 to Wilson? KZ, this is a great question. I hope not. Not for fantasy football purposes, but I feel like the weapons are starting to get upset. I feel like Justin Fields, he's helping them win. He's being productive, but he's not giving them the stats. So personally, I think this week is going to be very telling for Justin Fields and where he's going to be able to go rest of season. So that's why I do have Justin Fields as the top 10 QB this week in fantasy football, but it's also risky because if the Pittsburgh Steelers really struggle, I could already see them starting to chant and call for Russell Wilson to be the starter. So I think there's potential there. So I am worried about it. RZ. As Friday says, you'll get there. Appreciate you. Mike LB. Appreciate you tuning in, dude. Answering all Start State questions this season. So I want you here in the community going forward. And you said Jordan Love or Jalen Hurts. I will personally be going with Jalen Hurts. I have Jalen Hurts as my QB2. But Jordan Love is also a really great option. I have him as my QB5. And then for your wide receiver, you got Reed, A.J. Brown, Moore, Wandell, Wicks, Tolbert. What 3 should I start in Otten or McBride? So I'm starting, just start your studs. Reed, A.J. Brown, and Moore. I assume it's DJ Moore. And then I would start McBride over Otten. So Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, DJ Moore, Reed, McBride, Michael. Absolute loaded team. And then I said, much love there. Appreciate you staying up to help the community. Thanks for all you do. Of course, the community, we do it for the love of the game. That's exactly why we do it. But like I said, guys, You said, sobriety said, I hope every team in the nation struggles. Preach. On this note, guys, this has been an absolute great stream. Thanks so much for all the love and support. I think we've gained tonight. We've gained almost 55 new people in the community. So I just want to shout all you guys out. Absolutely love the Friday night streams. I will be still answering all the questions on the comments. We'll be posting another video tomorrow. We're potentially doing a live stream tomorrow. So want to help you guys out any way I can. Make sure you guys are plugged in. If you guys haven't checked out my actual videos, posted an earlier video today. So go check that out. Leave a comment, leave a like. Anything helps support the channel. Best free way is just to give me all the love you can. And I appreciate all the love that you guys give me. So have a great night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs to bite. And I'll catch you here tomorrow. See ya.